stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hey guys, welcome to a very, very, very special episode of the Star Wars Canon Library. My name's Brian. I am the librarian here at the Canon Library, where we're keeping all the canon in chronological order for you. But we're going to get into that in here in just a few minutes. I've also got sitting here at the table with me, Andrew Korp. Andrew, what's going on, bud?
Hey guys.
Hey, you know why we're here, right?
Yeah, I know exactly why we're here.
Yeah, why are we here?
This is our 1 year anniversary today, and my has it been good.
It has been a good.
It's been a good year.
been a
Hit
good
and miss,
year.
but good for the most part.
We actually got a new movie now this year.
Yes.
Within this last year, we got a new movie, man, and all this good Star Wars storytelling that's coming out, man. It's been a really good year for Star Wars canon.
Absolutely.
What we're going to do today, guys, like I said, this is a very special episode. This is our 1 year anniversary video. We're going to go through the timeline of everything that has come out so far. We're not going to do this every year. Every year, we'll from now on, we'll just do the stuff that come out over that year.
Right.
But for this particular one, for our first one, we're going to go through the timeline, tell you what order everything goes in definitively, and we're going to review everything up to this point so far. Because I know Andrew's read some of it. I've read all of it. So we are going to give you some diverse opinions on some stuff, because me and Andrew don't agree on everything all the time either.
Not all the time.
So,
At
so here we go. Are you ready, man?
I'm absolutely
Hey, you know
ready.
what? Before we get going, though, I do want to do something, though. Just because we're Star Wars fans, we know, but not everybody knows. This week we did lose a legend in Star Wars, and Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2 in
Right.
episodes 1 through 6, did pass away this week. And very sad. I was moping around all day, sitting there thinking, man, R2's gone, man. R2's passed away, and it's very sad. And one of our viewers even said he was at Celebration this year. I believe it was Richard J.
Yeah, it was
Said
Richard.
he was at Celebration this year, and got to see Kenny Baker. So I mean, it's very melancholy, and I kept telling Kirsty it was the first of the classic characters to go, but it wasn't. Alec Guinness was.
Yeah, Alex,
Yeah. So, but yeah, Kenny Baker's no longer with us, and it sucks, and rest in peace. So, anyway, with that being said, we wanted to get that out of the way. But for right now, we are going to start at the timeline that we've got on the website. This is on our website, StarWarsCanonLibrary.com. This is the definitive list. This is what we're going based off of. So, Andrew, do you want to kick us off on what's going first? I don't know if you can see the computer real well
Yeah, I
from
can
where
see
you're
it.
at.
I can see it. Looks like we got first is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace,
Which is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
has
mean,
seen it. Crap. Anyway,
and then Obi-Wan and Anakin, which was the comic. How many runs was that?
that was a 5-issue run.
5. It was good. I liked it. That was where we first got our suspicion of maybe Revan.
Yes.
So that was from that holocron.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't a holocron. Sorry.
It was
just
like a holographic device or whatever somebody on this
Right.
planet had, and they thought it was a Jedi because the color was black and white on it. At this point, it was so old.
Right. And
they
he
could-
asked, he's like, what color was that saber?
Mhm.
It was red. So
It was red. Yeah, it was freaking red. So that hasn't been confirmed yet either.
no,
whether or
I
not that
want
was
it to be
Revan.
so bad.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, the possible appearance of Revan in canon. But that series was also interesting because Anakin was toying with the idea of leaving the Jedi Order.
Right. And then they were sent on that mission,
Mhm.
and they went together, and I think they were really able to bond a lot, and that actually,
Him and Obi-Wan,
right,
yeah.
and that deterred him for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. See, I don't like anything prequel era.
right.
I can't stand prequel era crap. Once in a while, you'll find a gem hidden somewhere in the crap, and this was one of those less shiny gems.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was all right, but
the
it was,
story was good. I liked the story. But all in all, I just want Revan to be confirmed.
Oh.
Do it now.
Do it now. Oh my God! All right, so what do we got next then?
Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
Crap.
Star Wars: Clone Wars seasons 1 through 6.
Okay, Clone Wars 1 through 6. Here's the deal with Clone Wars. I've talked to a lot of people who said, and you included, that didn't care for Clone Wars that much.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand Clone Wars when I first started watching it, and one of the biggest reasons was none of it made any sense. None of the story really flowed together, and nothing really seemed right. And then it came out that the episodes were aired non-chronologically. The first episode in the season is like a season 3 episode, and then a season 2 episode, and then the theatrical movie that came out, which was actually 8 years ago today.
And that was actually a lot of my problem with trying to get into that series. Was the same thing. It wasn't because I was watching it on Netflix.
Yeah, and it makes no
and
sense on Netflix.
They put it on the aired order, so it was really hard for me to get into that, and I didn't care for it. And then I met Brian, and that's when he filled me. He's like, "No, you need to rewatch it in an actual order, which we do have on our page."
It is on the website. If you just go to the timeline tab, it's there. Clone Wars episodes. I don't have the season numbers and stuff. I just have the titles of the episodes.
Right.
But if you go to Netflix and watch them, they have the titles also that you can go based off of. So if you watch them in chronological order,
it's actually good.
They make a lot more sense. And I mean, you watch 2 episodes and then you watch the movie and then you keep going with the TV show in that order. It's actually a really good storyline. And you see a side of Anakin that you really wanted to see in the movies, of how he's a good star pilot, because the only time you really see Anakin star piloting anything is in 3 at the beginning, and that's really it, you know. And you get to see how, you know, what Obi-Wan meant when he said he was a good star pilot and a good friend, because you see the dynamic between Obi-Wan and Anakin in that a lot more. So
and you got to see his soft side with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
You know, how he was trying to mentor and be a teacher, and while it was a learning experience for them both, and I really liked that aspect of it.
Yeah, I couldn't stand Ahsoka to begin with, and now she's grown to be one of my. I mean, she's in Rebels now, and awesome character. I mean, awesome enough that I actually have a Black Series figure of her on the shelf, proudly displaying it. So I mean, anyway, all right. So then we're moving on from Star Wars, Clone Wars seasons 1 through 6. What's next? Son of Dathomir. Son of Dathomir was a 4-issue run of a Darth Maul comic.
And it was so good.
So good. It was produced from unaired episodes of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, I can't remember his name. He was touching on that during the celebration panel.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
Which that story has a lot to do with Ahsoka also.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order at the end of season 5 of Clone Wars. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
But everybody was wondering what happened to her after that, and the Son of Dathomir comic has a lot to do with that. I mean, she was the one leading the effort to get Maul in that, and you don't even see it in the comic.
And it also fills in the gaps of Maul.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Son of Dathomir isn't printed by Marvel. It's actually Dark Horse. It was the only piece of canon material from Dark Horse the only piece of Legends material that got brought into canon from Dark Horse, just because it was produced from Clone Wars.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the only comic that was brought over. What do we got next? Speaking of Ahsoka, we got the Ahsoka novel, which is not out yet.
Will be soon.
It comes out in October, and I'm dying to get my hands on that book.
My birthday is October 29th.
This book comes out October.
I'm just saying, birthday present, Brian. Birthday present, Brian.
This book comes out on October 11th, I do believe. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up 2 copies of it because I cannot wait to read that freaking book. And then we move on to where am I? Dark Disciple. Did you read Dark Disciple?
I did not actually. No.
I thought you did.
No, not Dark Disciple. I read Lords of the Sith.
Oh, okay, that's right. Dark Disciple is a story that was also produced from Clone Wars episodes that were never aired. Has a lot to do with Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos, the Jedi Knight Quinlan Vos.
Oh, I'll actually need to pick that up.
It's actually pretty good. This book was actually more of a love story than Lost Stars was made out to be. I mean, it was a good book. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't even like prequel era stuff at all. And I had no problem reading this book. But all right, let's see here. What's next? Revenge of the Sith, which is pretty self-explanatory. I want to talk about Revenge of the Sith for a minute.
Believe it or not, that was one of the only prequels that I did actually like.
It was the most tolerable. The first half, crap. Second half, awesome, in my opinion. I love the second half of the second. Well, okay, like the last act of Revenge of the Sith, when it starts to tie everything together and you see Anakin going dark and everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Palpatine comes forth and like everything's just pulling together.
Yeah.
And you find out that he's behind everything. I mean, we already knew this.
Right.
But you find out that he's behind everything and all the pieces come together. And it was very good.
Yeah.
Now, here at the library, we're incredibly biased against prequel material. We try to be fair because we know there's a lot of fans out there that like prequel material. But here, no.
No,
we
we
don't like prequel material.
I don't care for the prequels. And there are people out there that like the prequels.
Yeah,
you know, there are
yeah.
people, younger than us. I mean, I'm going on 30. So I'm gonna like the classic trilogy more. That's what I grew up with watching. You know, my mom showed them to me when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my god, you know, and it changed my life. And then the prequels came out, and even at like, dude, even at 10 years old, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, this isn't Star Wars. But there are people out there that like the prequels, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's allowed to like different things.
Right. We try not to be too mean about the prequels, but it's not liked here.
I hate them so much that I'm actually glad we're past those on this review list already. See, what do we got next? Marvel's Canon.
Mm-hmm.
All 12 issues of Marvel's comic book, Canon the Last Padawan. You haven't read this one yet, have you?
No, I didn't read Canon. Let me think. I'm trying to remember if we talked about any of Canon.
I don't remember.
I don't think we did.
I don't even think I've reviewed it yet. Okay, well then consider this my official review of the Canon series. It takes place. It picks up right before Order 66 starts happening, and Kanan, whose real name was Caleb Dune, he was Jedi Padawan Caleb Dune, becomes the apprentice to this Jedi Master Deba Billaba. I think I pronounced her name right. I don't know. Anyway, Billaba, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Depa Billaba, I think is how you pronounce it. But anyway, Order 66 happens. She gets killed, and he runs off. He escapes the clones and changes his name, gives up the Force, and becomes Kanan Jarrus from Rebels. That's essentially what it is. And there's even a couple of episodes. There's even a couple issues that are just Rebels episodes in that series, where it actually flashes forward to where he's with the Rebels crew, and they've already got Ezra and stuff like that, and he keeps having flashbacks.
I remember you talking about it being a hit and miss series too.
It was
with the comics.
It was. There were once in a while you get an issue where you're just like, okay, well that didn't do crap.
Wasn't that the one that was cut short?
It was cut short.
Right.
It was supposed to be an ongoing series, and then they cut it short at 12 issues, and they picked up with Poe Dameron. They picked up with Poe Dameron. Which we'll get to Poe Dameron much, much later on in this, because we still have quite a ways to go. But yeah, there were 12 issues of Marvel's Kanan. They're available in TPB now, trade paperback. That's what I have up there. I've got all the comic issues in my long box. It's just I keep the graphic novel versions on the shelf because I think they look better. But anyway, you need to read them. I think you would really like them, especially since you like Rebels as much as I do. And then what do we got next?
Adventures in Wild Space.
Okay. All right.
I didn't read any of those because we didn't actually find out they were canon until recently, right?
Right.
It was the Wild Space series.
Right. They're geared towards young readers. They definitely have like a second, third grade reading level to them. But somebody messaged me, a guy named Jared messaged me on the website and told me I needed to look into them. So I had the first 3 books because I ordered them when I found out they were canon, and then I started to read the first, and I just put it down because I'm like, this is stupid. I got like 5 pages in, it's like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. But after he said, go ahead and give them a shot, I went ahead and picked them back up, and I read the first book in like 45 minutes. And I'm currently in the middle of the second book now, but it's really not bad. Once you get into it, it's not bad because, I mean, it's about kids who are looking for their parents. But if you look at it as just a Star Wars story of these 2 people trying to find their parents, it's not bad.
Well, the only reason it's difficult for people like us, we're just used to that higher level of reading, the intellect that goes into it. So reading a young adult novel poses its own challenge.
Right. Yeah, I'm more of the meat and potatoes kind of guy when it comes to the to the stories. So. But I mean, they're not bad. I mean, I don't even own the last 2 books yet. They just came out in June, so I need to get a hold of those, and I need to finish those. But those all take place right after Kanan, Last Padawan, and Vader's actually in that series.
Oh, okay.
So, but somebody tried telling me they weren't canon also, and I went back and looked, and they are canon. It's just I don't know if they're strong canon or loose canon. I'm not sure.
Fell under the radar a little.
Yeah, a little bit. So I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, then we're coming up on one of your books that you really like.
I thought it was an excellent book.
Lords of the Sith.
I thought it was amazing.
Dude, that book was so good. That book, for me, that was like the 4th canon book I read.
It was early on. It was.
Yeah.
That was one of the first ones that I actually picked up. And the thing about this book that really separates it from the rest is you actually get to see the dynamic between the Emperor and Darth Vader. Oh. And that was incredible.
Oh,
It was incredible.
the who wrote it again? I don't even remember. Paul Kemp. Paul Kemp wrote it, and he's got Vader and the Emperor, their relationship down.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's one part in the book where they're fighting these creatures with their lightsabers, and all these creatures pile on top of the Emperor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Vader stands back. He's gonna let the Emperor die so he can become the Sith Master. And finally, he goes down there and helps him. And the Emperor asks him, did you think about letting me die? And Vader pauses and he goes, yes, Master. And the Emperor's like, good. Like it's awesome. It's so good. But what did you? What were your overall thoughts of Lords of the Sith?
Excellent read, and that's what, like I said, that's where I started. So anybody that wants to get into the novels, why not? That's a good starting point. And
Yeah.
like I said, the dynamic, that's one of the first real good looks of the dynamic between Vader and the Emperor that you get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 10 out of 10 would read again.
Oh God, dude,
Yeah, that was a good book.
that book was so good, and it even brought in Hera's father, Cham Syndulla,
Yeah.
because he was in Clone Wars a lot, and now he's in Rebels also. But yeah, he had a lot to do with that story. All right, Lords of the Sith, excellent book. And then we're coming up on a short story called Mercy Mission. This short story, I'm not even sure if you knew about this one.
No, I had no idea.
They released a book called The Rise of the Empire, and it was the novels A New Dawn and Tarkin combined into one big paperback tome, and it had 3 short stories with it, and this was one of them. And it was about Hera. It wasn't even that really big of a deal. It was like 20 pages long.
I remember you telling me about it, though, because you said it took place in different times of the...
Yeah.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just... The book, I mean, the story was all right. It really wasn't anything. It was just them talking the whole time they're trying to drop supplies off on a planet. It really wasn't that big a deal. And then we got the book Tarkin.
Tarkin was... Oh, that was such a good book.
Tarkin was damn good. I wanted Tarkin to go on like another 80, 90, 100 pages.
Oh, easily. Easily. If it didn't stop, I would have been happy.
Yeah.
The thing about Tarkin is, if you guys remember in A New Hope, like Tarkin had that reserved coldness towards Vader, and Vader let it slide.
Yeah.
And like it was no problem. Had anybody else talked to Vader the way that Tarkin did, they would have died, plain and simple. But this book tells you how that relationship formed. And why
it
Tarkin was
works.
the way Tarkin was. I mean, he was a cold, calculating individual.
And he was raised that way from a
that's
kid.
Tarkin family
From being a
rule, yeah.
kid, that was just how the way he was raised. And it was because of the planet he grew up on.
Yeah. Survivor
Excuse me.
don't come, or
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Survivor don't come back. Yeah.
Yeah, because he even asked his parents in that book at one point. He's like, if I die, will you miss me? And they're like, yeah, we'll miss you, but you won't have been worthy of the Tarkin name. You're like,
Yeah.
God.
It was just cutthroat, absolutely brutal, and it really gives you an insight on Tarkin, who is really an underrated character until this book came out.
He was the main villain in episode 4. When you look at it, like, okay, put yourself in the 70s. Let's say you just went and saw the original Star Wars. You didn't know Empire, Jedi, none of the rest of them existed. Tarkin was the villain of that movie.
He was the one that
And Vader
blew
was
up.
the muscle.
Right. He's the one that blew up Alderaan. He's the
Yeah.
one that gave the order. He said, "You may fire when ready."
Yeah. And evacuate in our moment of triumph. I think you overestimate that chances. Yeah, I think you. Okay. I think you overestimate your big ball. And then what's next? Oh God, yes, Lost Stars.
You can have this one. I
Lost
know that's
Sta-
your jam.
Okay, so, this is my man jam. Lost Stars was probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Forget Star Wars in general. I'm talking novels in general. This is one of the best books I have ever read. I read this book in like 2 days.
Oh yeah, I remember you
I could not put it down.
Coming to work just tired as hell. I'm like, I only got like an hour of sleep. I couldn't put that book down.
I couldn't. I would read all day, and then I would set it down to go to bed, and I'd lay there for like 10 minutes, and I'd turn the light back on, and Chrissy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, screw it, I can't read. And I can't sleep, and I pick the book back up and just keep reading. Like, I could not put it down. It was so good, and it slid under the radar. It slid, because this book had no marketing whatsoever. Because that time was when the 3 young adult novels for Han, Luke, and Leia were coming out, and Aftermath, and this.
And Aftermath was really hyped.
And Aftermath was the hyped one, and Lost Stars was by far the superior book, and it's just so good. I love Claudia Gray.
It was so good that I hadn't read it, and he had just finished it, and he was like, "You have to have a copy of this book." And he went to Walmart right then and bought me a copy of this book. And he's like, "Read it. Please read this."
Any Star Wars fan needs to own that book. I mean, that book is essential reading to any Star Wars fan. You have to read Lost Stars. It's so good. Jesus. So good. Oh, God. All right, so what's next? Thrawn. The book Thrawn.
I didn't read Thrawn.
It's not out yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's why I didn't.
I haven't read it yet. It comes out in April. They just announced this at Celebration this past year. Timothy Zahn is coming back to write a new version of Thrawn. He gets his own novel again.
Yes, we seen the cover art for that during
It's on the page.
Celebration, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I cannot wait for that book.
And there was actually a lot of excitement on our page about Thrawn, actually.
Yeah, that's
when
all I
we
kept seeing.
when you posted that cover art.
Yeah, that's all I kept seeing. Dude, and like I keep saying this, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I like the fact that they're making Thrawn canon. I just don't know how I feel about where they're putting him in the canon. Because originally he was after Return of the Jedi. He was the next big baddie after, post-Jedi. And maybe they're setting up for that with him being in Rebels, because he was on these missions out in wild space for a long time and then came back. So I don't know, because they're starting to touch on now the Empire starting to explore the unknown regions of space. They touched on that a little bit in Life Dead and the first Aftermath. So I don't know. Maybe they're starting to lead up to that. I don't know, because I'm starting to wonder.
Maybe this is a prequel to like the main Thrawn.
Maybe. I cannot wait for Thrawn, dude. I'm dying. Like, I have to have it. Andrew, I need it. Andrew, I need it. Oh my God! All right, Jesus. And then we got another short story, Bottleneck. It was also in the Rise of the Empire. It was a Tarkin story.
I didn't know about that.
Tarkin and Count Vidian from A New Dawn. It was all right. It was nothing, not essential reading. You're not missing anything. And then you come to A New Dawn. A New Dawn was the first novel to kick everything off for the new canon, and it introduced Kanan and Hera and this character called Count Vidian. But the book starts like any other novel, and it's just on a mining planet, like any other of the old Star Wars books that started on mining planets. You're like. Which I can't say anything because the Bane trilogy starts on a mining planet.
Yep.
And I
think that's a very agreed favorite trilogy for us.
Yeah, yep. Jared keeps messaging me. And he's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "I don't collect the new books." He's like, "But I started a Bane collection a couple weeks ago," and I was like, I let him borrow my Darth Bane book, and he couldn't get into it that much.
Nope.
But I loved them. They're great. And we're going to talk about Bane a little bit later on in this episode. But anyway, where are we at here? Star Wars Rebels. Dude, you want to talk about Rebels?
We can touch on it a little bit, but I feel like we might not be able to touch on the end.
We can talk about Season 1. Season 2's over.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about
Season 1. You know what? I'm pretty sure at this point it's common knowledge about what happened in
fair
Season
enough.
2.
I mean, if you are a Star Wars fan, you would know.
Okay, before we talk about it though, we're going to be talking spoilers on this particular part. So just keep a heads up if you guys don't want to know. Skip ahead a little bit or something. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk Rebels. Let's talk some Rebels. What did you think of Rebels so far?
Rebels is excellent. I've only been all the way through Season 1, and I haven't finished Season 2, but I did watch the end of Season 2.
Oh my God!
And then I watched the when they did the trailer at Celebration for Season 3, which was amazing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trailer; it was just a snippet, actually.
The one clip they released,
right.
And then like 2 or 3 days later they released the
right.
trailer.
So, I watched the clip. I didn't watch the trailer. So
you watched the trailer? Didn't you?
I watched the
clip. You didn't watch the trailer.
I watched the
clip. Oh, you weren't in that because you were sick that day. Oh, that was the video. Oh my God, dude! You need to watch the trailer for Season 3 of Rebels. Jesus Christ!
No, that one kind of fell under my radar because
it's got Thrawn in it, dude.
That day was awful.
Oh my God, dude!
It was an awful day.
I didn't feel good that day either. I think it was something we ate the night before.
Yeah, because the night before we were doing a video and we had that Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
I don't care.
Posted, but yeah. We had some old TB.
Jeez. Yeah, because me and Kirsty both woke up feeling like, man, I don't feel real good today. And then I messaged you and it's like, hey, you coming over? You're like, dude, I'm throwing up everywhere. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, gotcha.
So, anyways, Season 1 of Rebels, slow start, strong finish, obviously.
Yeah.
Season 2, I have not got into yet. But what an ending. What a finale. That tugged at my heartstrings. Like no other.
Wait till you see the rest of the season, then watch that fight, dude. Because it keeps building up with Ahsoka trying to find out if that's actually who Vader is.
Oh man,
dude, it's God, it's so good. Okay, the night that aired, me and Kirsty were in here, we were watching it on TV, and the cable box kept going out the whole time we're trying to watch this finale. So I'm like freaking out. So we have to keep resetting the box and then going back to the point where we were, fast forwarding through the recording up to where we were. And we'd watch like 2 minutes and the cable box would go out again. I'm like, are you fucking serious? No, really? Of all nights, you had to do it tonight. And so finally we got through it, and I'm freaking out so bad. I'm like about to cry, and I'm like, I gotta go smoke a cigarette. And me and Kirsty go outside when we're smoking, and I'm just like, I'm not bashing, but I'm just like talking like crazy about this finale. God, it was so good.
Oh man, what got me though, like it almost made my eyes water, is when she cut off the part of his mask.
Yeah.
And it was almost Anakin for just like
and you hear her
a
go,
fraction
so
of a
good.
second, like because it was a mixture of Anakin and Vader right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the look on her face
Yeah.
that got me, because everything just dropped for her right there.
Yeah.
And then she turns around. And unfortunately, you don't see Anakin. You see Vader. You see the Sith
Yeah.
eye, and then you see that anger come flooding back. Like that one split second of weakness was too much, and that's what really, really got me. And then let's talk about a little bit at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
People are speculating already that it's Ahsoka's Force ghost that goes back into the temple.
I've seen that too. I'm not.
I think Ahsoka is very much alive,
I think she is too.
and obviously Vader is.
Yeah.
But I think Ahsoka's still alive.
I think she's still alive also, especially after what Dave Filoni said at Celebration
Yes.
during the Ahsoka
He's not
panel,
gonna
and
kill
he
his
didn't give
baby.
he didn't give an absolute no. He was just like, she might, maybe, possibly, maybe might have something to do later on. So that means she's alive. She is alive. There's no way she's dead.
Well, and the way the regard that Filoni holds for this character in particular,
He
because
created
this is
her.
exactly, dude. This is like, as a matter of fact, he used the word maternal
Yeah.
almost since
Yeah.
for Ahsoka, so they're not gonna kill it off like that. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's his baby.
Yeah.
God, man, because he didn't even like the fact that Ashley Eckstein used the term she had a boyfriend for a hot minute, and he was just like, no,
He got a little,
he got a little iffy about that one.
and that's one thing that I'm sorry we're stuck on this Ahsoka
No,
thing.
it's
but,
fine.
That was another thing that I really liked in when we were watching the Celebration. We were watching the Ahsoka panel, the Rebels panel. That she was she is that character.
Yeah.
If you,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
that's
watch
her.
That, yeah, if you watch that, she referred to Ahsoka as herself and things like that, and I thought that was really great. And I think that's why the character does so well in the show
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah. Dude, I still really, really, really want to see Dave Filoni direct a movie. I want to see Dave Filoni direct one of the
Yeah,
standalones.
and I'm
I
hoping
want
that's his
to.
next step, because Rebels is going to come to a close. They're running.
Oh, it's
out
coming
of time.
soon, too, yeah.
They're running out of the gap that they have for
Yeah.
Rebels. So that would be the next step that I would love to see Filoni do, is at least help, maybe, I don't know, some kind of writing or something, or maybe
Just
they refer to
anything.
him for stuff like, hey, what would you do in this situation? Because he's an incredibly creative person.
Yeah, and he builds everything from the ground up. When he tells us, because the way he said he did Rebels was when he wrote Rebels, he had to go back and write all the backstory of everything that happened before so that he would know what led up to this point.
Yeah, and then now they come to him for everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's like the custodian of Star Wars now. Him and Pablo Hidalgo,
Hidalgo.
are freaking custodians of Star Wars now, and they've got it. They've got it
so
down.
I am, after Rebels, I am still hoping to see more Filoni material.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right, let's get off of Rebels for a
we
little bit.
got
Oh, wait,
sidetracked.
for the record, Rebels Season 3 does air on September 24th, and the DVD Blu-ray for Season 2 comes out this month on the 30th.
Oh, most
So
excellent.
I'm going to have to get it and put it up right next to Season 1.
Right.
So, all right, moving on.
Catalyst.
That is going to be the prequel novel to Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story. That is
How far back are they going to go? Is the timeline
don't know.
set as far as going before A New Hope? Or, I mean, how
before
much?
Rogue One.
Right.
I don't know, because they said that this novel is going to be the prequel novel that leads up to the movie, so that you know everything that happened, and then you can watch the movie and go
pick
from
right
there.
up from there.
Yeah, so you're supposed to be able to read Catalyst, watch Rogue One, and watch A New Hope, all boom, boom, boom. and
I'm
it's
just
all one
wondering how
continuous
much
story.
prequel material they're going to do before they hit the original prequel material.
What are you talking about?
Like,
what do
how
you
far
mean?
back can they go before they're into the prequels, the Phantom?
Oh,
yeah.
well, there's only like 18 years there,
So
they
yeah,
can't go back very far.
Right, but how much material is actually there? Do you think?
Well,
That's my question, I guess.
right.
Is like how much before, how far back can you go, where there's still going to be relevant material?
Not that far. You really can't go back that far
I
at all.
thought honestly, I thought Rogue One was that marker. As far as going back.
I think it's. I don't. I see this book Catalyst taking place in like a week. I see the novel covering a week. I really do. Like a week before the movie actually takes place,
Right.
and leading up to them getting the transmissions, you know, and everything like that. Finding out about the Death Star and introducing us to these characters before you see them in the movie. That's honestly that's all I really see.
I can dig
it
that.
is.
I can dig that.
But that comes out on. They push that back to. It comes out on November 15th.
Oh, so we'll get it
3
just
months from
before we get
today.
we'll get that just before we get Rogue
A
One.
month before, yeah, we'll get it a month before. That's 3 week. That's 3 months from today. Which Rogue One, dude, 4 months from tonight, we're going to see Rogue One. And speaking of Rogue One, that is next on our list.
Yes, it is.
Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, the movie we are waiting for this year.
And you've said it before, and I think I can agree with you. I'm more excited for Rogue One than I was for Episode 7.
Dude, I cannot wait for this movie. I am dying for Rogue One, man. This is the prequel we should have gotten '99.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't think Lucas ever gave that a thought.
No, I don't think he did either.
When he thought prequels is exactly what we got when he's telling the story of Vader and Obi-Wan. And,
Right.
You know, I don't think he ever gave this even.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think he ever had the idea of an interconnected universe in the canon.
Well, no, because when Legends was canon, that stuff went all over the place.
It contradicted itself like a
And
son
I
of a-
don't think he cared. All he cared about was kind of, you know, the original
The movies that he
franchise.
did,
Those
and that
were
was
his
about it,
babies.
yeah.
And then, you know, he and I've seen in several interviews where Lucas commented and commemorated people for like, hey, yeah, that was cool. I like how you guys did that.
Right.
You know, he always applauded people's imagination expanding on his. But yeah, as far as that goes, I don't think he ever even thought about that.
No, I don't think he did either. And the way they pitched that movie was John Knoll walked in and was like, I want to make a movie. And Kathleen Kennedy was like, okay, about what? And he just laid down the second paragraph to A New Hope where it said rebel spies managed to steal the plans. And she was like, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And that's how the movie decided to make the movie. So Rogue One comes out December 16th this year.
So excited.
Like I told Andrew earlier, I'm trying to get press passes for us to go see press screening of it before it actually comes out, if they're going to do them.
We also have a review up right now of the official trailer drop, so make sure you go back and
Oh,
and
the
check
reaction,
that out.
yeah.
That was excellent. Next up is the ever favorite, A New Hope.
Star Wars: A New Hope, the baby that started it all, man. We've all seen it. We've all been there. we all related to Luke Skywalker wanting to get off that dust
I've
ball.
seen every rendition possible of that movie. I mean, there were so many.
Dude,
that
I
came
own
out.
all of them. Like, oh, I packed them away. Dude, okay, so I own laser discs
Yeah,
of the classics.
Laserdisc,
I actually
yes.
own the laser discs. I own
And those are the theatrical versions.
Mm-hmm. And then I own the VHS special edition, the DVD release from 2005, I think it was 2004, 2005.
It was somewhere in there,
Yeah.
right?
Which
Because that was the same ones that I got, but mine had the theatrical
You
version and
suck.
the digital version. So
Oh, I hate you so much. I want those. And then I also have the
steelbooks,
I got the steelbooks, and then I got the complete Saga Blu-ray book set too
right?
of the first 6. So yeah, man, I've got too much Star Wars crap. No, you don't think no such thing?
No.
Okay, fair enough. So Star Wars: A New Hope. We've all seen it. We
Idiot.
all know what an idiot. Then this, I don't know how I feel about this next thing because it's the novelization of A New Hope. It's called The Princess, the Scoundrel, and the Farm Boy. It's right there. The
yeah.
black book with the blue band on it.
Yeah, I didn't read that, and you said it wasn't really
It was weird because the book is broken into 3 parts.
obviously.
The first part is the princess. The second part is the scoundrel, and the third part's the farm boy. But each part only tells the story from that person's point of view. So Han's
Weird
story,
way to chop it up.
yeah, Han's story doesn't even pick up until like halfway through the movie, and then Leia's. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just I don't know how I feel about it. It's better than the other 2 novelizations that we got. Because So You Want to Be a Jedi and Beware the Power of the Dark Side can just go jump off a cliff, man. Because they're friggin' Jesus Christ. We'll get to those. Okay, and then we're gonna come to Andrew's favorite comic ever, which is Marvel's Princess Leia. Andrew, why don't you tell us what you thought about Princess Leia?
Oh no. I'm sorry. It took me a second to recall. No, Leia was bad. It was bad. And the thing about it is, the first issue's art wasn't that bad. The story was garbage.
Yeah.
But the art looked good.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, and this was what, a 5-issue?
Yeah,
I believe it was 5-issue run.
5-issue run.
Was a steady, sloppy decline.
Wasn't even steady. It was just
by,
boom. There
by,
it was.
By issue 5, you didn't even want to look at the panels. Like it was so slapped together and bad. The story arc was terrible. That was not a good series. But then they redeemed themselves. They did. They came through with.
Well, Han Solo's next.
I take
Marvel's
that back.
Han Solo.
I'm sorry. I didn't read Solo.
Well, they've only got 2 issues out so far.
I was talking about Lando.
Oh, Lando's
Yeah.
further down.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what
yeah,
I was talking about.
yeah. We'll get there, bud. Easy.
Well, I thought it was right after.
Oh. The Han Solo comic, they're only 2 issues into their 5-issue run right now, and so far I really do like it. I don't. You haven't read any of it yet?
No,
have
I
you?
was waiting for all 5 to come out. Just
Yeah,
knock 'em out.
it's cool. Leia sends Han on this mission, and he joins this. You know how in Bloodline they were talking about Han in the races?
Oh yeah.
It goes back to that. He joins this race to try to find this rebel soldier that they're trying to evacuate out of like an Imperial control planet and stuff. But they're using the race as a cover. It's a cool little story so far. Yeah, I'm really anxious to see where that one goes. And then right after that, we've got Smuggler's Run, a Han Solo adventure, which is a young reader novel. I don't think you've read that
Nope,
one.
I
You haven't
did not
read
read
any of
that
the young
one.
reader ones
Nope,
yet?
Not the young one.
If you like Han Solo, it was a cool little story. Really, I read it in like 3 hours, and it was all right. They go on a mission, and they come across this Imperial with like a cybernetic eye, and then she's mentioned in Shattered Empire. It's weird, but then we're coming up on after. Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
These next 2, man. After Smuggler's Run, we got. Oh, you say it. I can't even bring myself to say it.
Okay, so after that, we got Marvel's Chewbacca,
Ugh.
which, I didn't even bother. I'll be honest. There's some stuff that Brian will tell me. He'll be like, dude, this was bad. Please don't. And so I won't. It's that simple. So I didn't read Marvel's Chewbacca. But from what I understand from this just opinion, guys, go ahead and read it and see what you think about it. But from what I understand, it was not good. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Here's issue 1. Here's issue 2. Issue 3. Issue 4. You want to know what issue 5 was? That's all it was, man. It's crap. Jesus Christ, dude, give me a 5-issue run of Luke. For the love of God, give me a 5-issue run of freaking R5D4. Like, I would read that before I would Chewbacca. I mean, it was just.
All right, the next one after that is we're gonna skip over this one.
No.
quickly.
We're hitting it because I got something I want to say.
I'm not gonna skip over. I said we're gonna skip over rather quickly.
Oh yeah.
Because I know you got a lot to say about this.
Oh yeah.
All right, this one, and we have brought this novel up several times. It is Heir to the Jedi, and this is hands down. I've never read it. Brian won't let me read it.
You know how
is the
Andrew said
thing.
there were some things I said, Andrew, please don't. This is one I said, you will not. I will not allow him to read this book. If I had my way, that book would never crack its binding again. It doesn't just. Oh God, man.
Every time Eric gets brought up, this is what
Dude,
happens.
it pisses me off, man, because this book had so much freaking potential. It had so much to be good. It could have been so good, and I was looking forward to it. And then I read the first review for it right before I cracked it open and went, oh no, they can't be that bad. And it's that bad. It's not that bad. It's worse. It's worse than that. It's like a picture everything I'm saying, and it's worse than that. Like, I'm giving it props right now saying it's a shitty book. I mean, that's giving it compliment.
You did at one point want to shit on it and piss on it, so
It's not even worthy of that, man. Like, it's...
write a strongly worded letter to the author telling him don't ever write again.
Okay, look. Kevin Harn. To whom it may concern, do not ever write a Star Wars book again. I've read your other stuff, loved it. Read this one, I never. Oh my God! Don't ever write Star Wars again, for the love of God. The book takes place in like Luke's telling the story.
Oh, I know.
Like,
And next up, we
Yeah,
have Weapon of a Jedi, a Luke Skywalker adventure, which is not going to get much better of a review.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Weapon of a Jedi was actually good. It made up for Heir to the Jedi.
Okay, my mistake. I was.
Yeah. No. Heir to the Weapon of a Jedi made up for Heir to the Jedi.
Okay.
Or what did I say? Weapon of a Jedi made up for Heir to the Jedi. That's what I meant. Weapon of a Jedi was Luke going off to find a Jedi temple.
Oh, my fault. Okay, there was another one that you didn't like at all, and I thought that was the one. So my bad.
Oh no. I think you're thinking of Aftermath.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, that's the Weapon of a Jedi is a neat little story. Luke going to this planet to find a Jedi temple because he doesn't have Obi-Wan anymore to train him, and he comes across this character called Sarko Plank. And I'm really curious as to who Sarko Plank is because he was brought up in this book. They did action figures of him for Episode 7, and he's in the Force Awakens Lego game. So I really want to know who Sarko Plank is. I don't know. And he even told Luke, "We'll meet again somewhere down the road, and I'll kill you then," or whatever he said. But I mean, it was, I don't know. I'm assuming he's a bounty hunter or something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just what I gathered from it. All right. Hey, guess what? We're getting into the comics now.
Okay, and with the way this one is set up, okay, it's Marvel Star Wars Volume 1, and then under it's Marvel Star Wars Darth Vader Volume 1. The thing about this is for the first, what it was, 4 or 5?
6. For six issues.
Right, for the first 6 issues, they interconnected. So you would read Star Wars Volume 1, and then you would turn around and read Darth Vader Volume 1, and they would fit together.
Yeah.
And actually, I really liked the way that went.
Oh, yeah, I loved
I
it.
thought it was a really cool way to do things.
Yeah.
And all in all, both are still going right now? Or is Vader finished up?
Vader has 1 issue left.
1 issue left.
Issue 24 of Vader just came out last week, and I'm gonna have to. It's ending at issue 25, so that's that.
Such a good series.
It's so good, dude. Except for like the Shotun War section. I don't know if you've read that far yet. Actually, wait. I think that was the part you did read
the other night.
Yeah, that's right. You did get caught up the other night, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you ended with issue 23. Okay, yeah. So we only got 2 issues left of Darth Vader. But the Star Wars series, that one's going to keep going. I don't see that one ending anytime soon because that's their self-titled.
Right, and then they'll just keep that one going as long as there's new material. They're just going to keep that one going. So
what I want to see is that series eventually get up to the point where Empire Strikes Back happens, and then I don't know. Even like you could even do like a 5-issue run of an adaptation of Empire, and then keep going after that up to Jedi.
Fill in the gaps.
Yeah, to keep filling in between all the movies. I mean, that'd be kind of
that's
cool.
something they wanted to do. I mean, that's definitely a route they could take, and
Yeah.
I think it would. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. So
Because they haven't touched on it yet, but I want to know what happened with the bounty hunter on Ord Mantell that Han Solo was talking about on Hoth. You know, and when he's going to pay Jabba, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, that bounty hunter we ran into on Ord Mantell kind of changed my mind." You know, I'm like, I want to see that story, and it hasn't happened yet.
and maybe that's where they're going with it. Then is maybe that's their way of continuing
Yeah,
the story. So
I'm hoping
that would
it
be cool.
does.
Vader was so good though.
Vader was good.
The thing you really get to see how ruthless and just downright mean Vader actually is,
Dude.
and the respect that he commands because they try to do him dirty and he
Two,
just ain't
two
having
words: Vader down.
it. Yeah.
Vader down.
I'll give you. I believe we posted that panel actually.
Yeah.
At one point,
Greatest
But
line in any canon comic ever.
he crash lands, and the rebels surround him, and they tell him that they're like,
and there's like close to 100 of them.
yeah, you're surrounded, and he just whips out his saber, and he's like, the only thing I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men, and just goes to town.
Dude.
And it gave me goosebumps when I was reading it. Like, you really get to see why Darth Vader is the feared person that he is throughout the galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Vader down was by far my favorite arc so far in any of the comics.
It was
Between
well put
Star
together.
Wars, Vader, Kanan, Han Solo, all of them. That's my favorite run so far is Vader down. And Jesus, man, that's such a good run. Okay, and then we go all the way through the comics up to where we're at right now. Yeah, there we are. Battlefront. Yeah, you're right. Battlefront Twilight Company, a novel. You haven't read this one yet.
I
have
haven't
you?
read Battlefront, and you had a little bit of mixed feelings on that, if I remember right.
It was a little mixed. The first half of the book was kind of hard to get into, and then when you hit the Battle of Hoth and you see it from their point of view, dude, that book gets freaking insane. And Vader has one line in that book. Vader pops up and has one line in that book, And all it is, like, I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody. But he has one line in that book, and dude, Jesus.
Well, the thing about that book is it was presented to be a war book, correct?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, that first half was just there wasn't much going on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the battle on Hoth that it really got into
picked
the
up.
gritty. And the thing about that writing style is keeping a reader's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all in all, I mean, you said that the book did well. So,
Yeah,
once you actually powered through that first
Yeah,
half.
yeah. It ended up redeeming itself in the long run. It's worth the read if you can get through that. Like the first 7 or 8 chapters, if you can get through those, it's a pretty good book.
So give it a chance, is what we're saying.
Yeah, yeah. It's where are we at? Oh, here's the one you kept trying to jump to a while ago.
Right. Lando.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them
Lando
about
was
Lando a little
awesome,
bit.
dude. Okay.
Lando was so good.
It was really okay. The art. This is where they redeemed themselves to me.
It was a
because
5-issue
I had
run.
read- right.
It was a 5-issue
And then
run.
I had read Leia and was just sorely disappointed. And then I turned around and read Lando immediately after because it was all out by the time that I was reading it. And they really redeemed themselves in my eyes with Lando. The art was amazing. The story that they chose for Lando was so fitting. It's typical Lando situation that he would find himself in.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and it did more to deepen like the lore of the Sith and stuff. Also,
right, because that was where he had found the ship of all the Sith artifacts.
And it was
That the
Palpatine's yacht,
Emperor's-
yeah.
right. It was the Emperor's private yacht, and there was just this room that was full of Sith artifacts.
Dude,
and it was just a
lightsabers
really
and
good book.
Dude, it was so
Or
good.
sorry, those comics.
Yeah, it was a good comic.
It was,
yeah,
it was a good run, and I really. I mean, I don't think they'll ever expand on it, but I
No.
want them to do something else with Lando.
yeah, I do too. Well, there's talk now that he's going to be in the Han Solo movie.
Right, and this is just speculation. I'm not even sure, but they're thinking about Donald Glover as
Okay.
the possible.
Wait,
Lando.
no. Here's the deal with Donald Glover. Collider Jedi Council came out on Thursday. The story broke on Thursday that they were going to be casting for young Lando. Christian Harloff made the comment, "What about Donald Glover?" And everybody's like, "No, he's probably too old, whatever." He's like, "Okay, whatever." Okay. Very next day, stories start running everywhere that Donald Glover is front runner for. They haven't even started casting him yet. They just said they were going to, and now everybody's running with the story that Donald Glover is going to play young Lando Calrissian.
I think he'd be all right as a Lando.
He-
I mean, I've watched the Community and I've watched some of his stand-up and other things that he's
Yeah.
done. I listen to his music, Childish Gambino.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Donald could really fit the persona that is Lando.
Yeah, he could do it.
Yeah.
It's just don't report crap that's just rumors and just speculation. You know, I mean, that crap pisses me off. That's why every time I post a story to the page, I read through it really carefully first and check sources just to make sure before I post it. And but it's just, but yeah, he could play a good Lando. I
think
mean,
he could do it.
Yeah. And then we come up on Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, greatest Star Wars movie ever.
I can agree with that.
I love Empire Strikes Back. I mean,
That's where a lot of the story takes place too.
yeah.
I mean, there's so much information and so much that actually happens in Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Empire, which I thought was cool, is with the first Star Wars, they left it open, but they didn't expect anything to happen. They weren't
Right.
expecting a sequel, and so the way that they went ahead and tied everything in was, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody does. It's classic.
Oh, God,
So,
yeah.
Empire was,
Yeah, see, what the interesting thing about Empire was also this, that when George Lucas wrote the first Star Wars movie, he had all the stories laid out, but when the first Star Wars movie came out, before they started working on Empire, Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker were two different people. Vader actually had killed Luke's father. And then when they did Empire and they did the plot twist of Vader becoming his father, or, was his father, Lucas had to come up with a way to make Obi-Wan not look like a lying piece of shit. So they did the whole point of view thing in Jedi. And that honestly, that's what it was. And he keeps saying he'd go back. He keeps saying in every interview I've seen where he's like, "Yeah, I knew that Anakin was Vader the whole time." No, he didn't either. No, he didn't, because I've seen interviews also where he was like, "No, in the first movie he really isn't." And Luke and Leia aren't brother and sister. It's just a princess and a farm boy. That's all it is. And it's just anyway. Empire, by far the best movie.
Oh yeah,
out
I
of
can
the
agree with
bunch.
that. Oh yeah,
Absolutely love it. And then we come up on the novelization of So You Want to Be a Jedi. Okay, this book is almost as bad as Heir to the Jedi. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and say it's worse because I never finished So You Want to Be a Jedi.
Oh, but you did finish Air, so
I did finish Heir, yeah, so painfully, but I did do it. So You Want to Be a Jedi is a novelization of Empire Strikes Back, but it's from the point of view that you are Luke Skywalker reading the book. And it's just, God. It's written for kids. Because when
Yeah.
Han and Leia are having their argument, it even says, I'm going to skip all the gooey argument because in the long run you find out they love each other. I'm like, wow, thanks for ruining it for me, asshole. It's like, okay, cool. All right. Anyway, so yeah, it's not even worth it. There's nothing in it that Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Moving Target.
Moving Target, a Princess Leia adventure, which this book officially retcons Shadows of the Empire. Because Shadows of the Empire happened right where this book's at, between Empire and Jedi. Moving Target, Princess Leia adventure. What I liked about this book was that it started to put the gray area between good and bad in the forefront. Because the rebels are trying to accomplish this mission. They're trying to distract the Empire away from the rebel fleet, but they're putting civilian lives at risk doing it so that they can amass to go attack the second Death Star. So it really starts to bring that gray area of morality out. You know what I mean? And it's just there's no good and bad. You have to sacrifice
In order to gain.
you know, right? And it's a very interesting book. And Leia's dealing with the whole fact that Han's been captured and he's frozen in carbonite, and you know, stuff like that. But Mon Mothma's in the book like crazy. She's the one telling Leia, you know, hey, if you do this for me, we'll put together a rescue mission for Han, for General Solo, so for Captain Solo. So I mean, it was a very interesting book. We're and then Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right up there with Empire with me. Return was
Really?
awesome. Yeah, Return was awesome, man.
Jedi was good. I don't know if it's my number 2 though. Because I'm one of those suckers that really bought into The Force Awakens. Like The Force Awakens is probably it's either my number 2 or 3 right now. I don't know.
I can definitely agree with you. Force Awakens was amazing.
I loved it.
Absolutely amazing movie.
I can see why people didn't like it. How they said it was a ripoff of the original. I can understand. I can see the parallels there, but I don't give a crap. It was still a good movie, you know, and it brought Star Wars back from the brink of destruction.
It wasn't on the brink of destruction.
Dude, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Shut up. Yes, it was.
Okay, so you mean cinematically?
Cinematically, yes. It was near the brink of destruction, man. I didn't think we'd ever get another good Star Wars movie.
But I thought Return was great.
Jedi was good.
I want that middle section. What happened to Luke?
Yes.
Why
Yes.
is Luke such a dirty badass now?
Dude.
Like, he has no problem force choking people. That's not very Jedi.
Yeah, I want to know where he learned that because
He's in all black. That's not very Jedi.
Yeah, because at the end of Empire, he's broken physically and mentally. He is broken. And then a year later, he comes to Tatooine and he's just like, what the hell happened to you?
Bye-bye, esophagus. Yeah, he didn't care. He didn't care.
Dude, it just...
And that's the anger and that hate coming forth that is very, very typical of the dark side.
Yeah.
And he was in all black. That's not very Jedi.
Yeah, I want to know where he...
So
I want to know where he learned the Force choke, because you know Obi-Wan and Yoda...
No.
Well, Yoda didn't teach him that, and you know Obi-Wan's ghost didn't.
no way.
You know, there's no way. Anyway, yeah.
So I mean, with all that
I want
confusion going on though after Empire and all that stuff happening, I mean, it's not a surprise that he picked up some, you know, bad habits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
we're gonna call force choking a bad habit, like biting your nails.
That is a bad habit. What are you talking about? All right, let's see here. Where we at? Oh, Beware the Power of the Dark Side, the novelization of Jedi. Just as bad as So You Want to Be a Jedi. Don't read it. It's that bad.
And it's The Levers of Power.
The Levers of Power, which is the last short story in the Rise of the Empire book.
I didn't read that.
It actually has Admiral Ray Sloan in it, and it's her point of view of the Battle of Endor from the bridge of a Star Destroyer.
That would actually be really cool.
It's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a shame that was a short story instead of actual
Oh,
novelization.
no kidding. No kidding. I'm going to have you read it because it's really good. And then we got Marvel's Shattered Empire. Did you read that one?
I haven't read Shattered Empire.
That was a 4-issue run.
It was good, though, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, it was real good. It introduces you to Poe Dameron's parents. He was actually conceived the night the second Death Star got blown up. So that I mean, and it has this weird storyline with Luke also. He's going to this Imperial outpost that has this like Force-sensitive tree from the Jedi Temple from Coruscant, like this floating tree that was like Force. He got like 3 or 4 of them, I think, or 2 of them, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, or something like that. And he gave one of them to Poe's parents, and it was very.
I feel like I did read that.
Did you?
Yeah, I feel like I remember that tree part that you're talking about at least.
Yeah, it was.
It's lost up here somewhere.
I'm gonna have to
I'll
go through and
reread- yeah,
reread all
I'll
my stuff
reread
again
that.
because even I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, man, I don't remember this guy's name. I don't remember that guy's name because there's so much that's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah, a lot of material.
So much. And then after Shattered Empire, we have Star Wars Uprising, which was a mobile game for your
I
cell
played
phone.
it for a little bit, but I didn't have the patience for it. I'm not super into those kind of games, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
but and really, it didn't last that long to begin with.
It was too repetitive for me.
Well, I mean, as far as like people like continually playing it, wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't have that value to people.
Right.
So
It didn't have a whole. See, any game that comes out where you create your own character and you name them and you pick what they look like, to me, that's not canon.
yeah.
Because you don't know what actually. I mean, I don't consider
Well,
it canon,
you got to
but they said
remember,
it is.
Canon was still not new, but fairly new when
Yeah,
there
yeah.
wasn't that much material out when this game
Right.
came out. So they're just trying to put Canon on
Everything.
that they
Yeah.
can until they can push more out.
Right.
You know,
At
and
that
now
point,
they're being
yeah.
a little more picky and choosy about what obviously what they're putting out. But I mean, look back at some of the other early work, and you're gonna find equal disappointment. You know what I mean? They were just trying to get Canon established so that they could just grab people's attention, then move forward.
Right. Yeah. I don't. I didn't get. I even tried playing it again like a week ago. Tried picking up where I left off, and I did one more mission, couldn't get into it.
Yeah, that type of game is just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'm a gamer. I mean,
I
game
got to
a
like
lot,
level 27, and
so.
I couldn't give a crap about it anymore.
But
And then we come up on the novel that everybody was expecting to be really good,
and it was a disappointment.
and it was a disappointment.
Well, for us personally, but
Aftermath. We're talking about Aftermath for the record.
yeah, sorry, yeah, I thought
Yeah.
for some reason I thought it was
Oh,
sad
no.
and it wasn't. No, Aftermath was a bit of a disappointment, but not to skip too far ahead here, but it did redeem itself with
Life Debt.
Life Debt.
Yes,
And I haven't personally read Life Debt yet.
dude.
But
it is so good.
Exactly. When you picked up that book, you were like, because you were so iffy about it because of the first
Yeah,
one.
I was afraid to read it after reading
Well,
the first
Aftermath
one.
got so hyped because as hype as you can get a book. Aftermath, they were really pushing that.
Well, Aftermath was the first good look we got at the galaxy after Jedi.
Right.
After Return of the Jedi, because even the opening part of the book is the celebration on Coruscant from the end of the Return of the Jedi movie.
Right.
When they're all celebrating, and like as soon as that camera cuts away, Imperial ships start coming in and blasting citizens and crap, dude. And it's all on war.
Right, but all in all, I think we can chalk Aftermath up to a disappointment,
Yeah.
and then completely redeemed with Life Debt.
Oh, Aftermath Life Debt was so good, dude.
I remember when you had finished the book and you told me you're like, you remember Aftermath? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Aftermath. Like, and then you're like, no, Life Debt is amazing. So, so yeah, they picked up the pieces there.
They did, and I'm really, really excited for Aftermath Empire's End, which is next in the line, and it doesn't come out until January 31st.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
So, and it's supposedly that book is supposed to be all Battle of Jakku.
That would be really cool.
That whole book is supposed to be Battle of Jakku. So I'm really, really excited for that one.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait, especially after the way they redeemed themselves with Life Dead.
Right.
I'm very, very excited for Empire's End. Next is one of the books that you like so much,
Oh man, this book was amazing. Come on,
Bloodline. Claudia Gray's Bloodline.
Claudia Gray.
She's got it.
Not to sound too, I don't know, fanboy here. She is an amazing author. The way that
Yeah.
she will immediately grab you and immerse you into the story that she is writing. Her writing style is unparalleled because, like, it just
She
won't
gets
let you
it.
go.
Yeah, she gets it.
And Bloodlines isn't that typical awesome action that you would expect from some of these novels.
Right,
I've been.
yeah.
This is more like political espionage,
Yeah.
smear campaign, really gritty politics, stuff like that. Things that you would normally think boring. Like,
Yeah.
You think politics, of course you think, oh, that's boring as hell.
Well, when you think Star Wars politics, first thing you think of is prequels.
Right, Republic.
And it was crap. There was way too much politics in the prequel movies. And then when this book came out and it was all politics, it's done well.
Yeah.
I mean, the politics in this book are the way Star Wars politics are supposed to be done.
Yeah, and like I said, I can't stress that enough. It's all about delivery.
Yeah.
And Claudia Gray has the delivery science down.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows exactly how to get you into something and make sure that you stay with it. And that's what I really dig about this book a
Yep.
lot. I won't give it's still a fairly new novel, so I won't give too much away.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I know I probably could do some spoilers now because it's been out for a few months now, like 2, 3.
I'd wait. Well,
Some people may not have got the chance.
Yeah,
yet.
I wouldn't yet. I wouldn't just
All
yet.
right. So, but do pick up Bloodline. You will enjoy it. I mean, like I said, usually you would think boring with politics or just not your cup of tea, but this really gets gritty. So
I couldn't put this book down.
Hmm.
I could not. And I remember the
This
night I
was a-
bought it. I
right.
remember the night I bought it. I saw you and I was like, "Do you want to see it?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I showed it to you and you're holding it. You're like, "It's real. It's here. It's finally here." And it lives up to the hype.
right, and that was another one that you got me a copy of because actually the original copy got a little mucked up.
Oh yeah, my
That's
stupid
what
cat.
happened. Kitty cat.
Yeah,
but,
knocked
it's
some
still
water
very
over on it.
readable.
You
I
know?
don't care. I read the hell out of that book.
Dude, that book is so good. Yeah, that's right. Because I was in the middle of reading it and I left it on my bed and my cat knocked over a glass of water and soaked it.
Yeah.
I'm like, God,
No,
really?
but I'll take
God,
that.
now I got to go buy a new copy. And I went and bought a new copy. And then you came over and you're like,
I'll take that.
I want this. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's yours.
I don't care about the water damage. It's still read just fine.
Dude, that's such a good book.
But that was okay. I'm a pretty avid reader. I read broad range of genres, things like that. And this was very much like Lords of the Sith to me. I had a hard time putting it down.
Yeah,
You know, and I didn't get that excited about a novel since Lords of the Sith.
yeah.
And it was just such a good book. So definitely highly recommended from me.
Yeah, Bloodline was actually suspenseful.
Mhm.
And it was very, very good. Very well written. Next is the short story, The Perfect Weapon, which was actually an ebook that was released.
Right.
like,
I remember
last
finding out
year.
about that, right? Because you weren't sure if it would be canon or what at first.
And it is.
And, you know, I
Yeah,
know it is
yeah.
now, but at first you were like, oh, an ebook. You thought you were going to have to, you were going to print it out and put it on the shelf.
I've got
that
it.
way it would be there.
I've got it on my computer. It's just
But,
I have. Yeah, because I had to figure out a way to do it to
but you
print
said
it
it
off.
wasn't that long of a read.
It wasn't. I think it was like 60 pages. But yeah, I've got them. I took screenshots on my phone because I got it on my phone, and I took screenshots of all the pages, and then transferred them to my computer so I could print them off as pictures, so I could bind them and put them up there. And I haven't done it. Well, I tried doing it one day, and the printer ran. The cat stepped on a freaking. Is that it right there? That's it right there. The cat stepped on my printer and hit the cancel button on my print. And I never could figure out how to get it back up, but yeah, I need to get it up there. But that story it's about Bazine. You remember in The Force Awakens when they go to Mos Kanata's castle and you see the woman with like the black hood, like the skin type black hood, laying on top of the big creature in
Oh,
the chair, and
right.
she comes up and she's the one that radios the First
right.
Order.
She rats everybody
It's
out.
about her, and she's trying to get this package to a hooded figure that she's only ever seen on a hologram, with a voice modulator and a mask on, and it's the box like this big. So that tells me she was working for Kylo Ren getting Vader's helmet.
Yep.
That's what it was. But it never says that in the story. It's just her getting that.
What else would be so important to him, you know?
Yeah. And why else would you even write the story?
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, it's got to tie in somehow. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. No.
Oh, yeah.
Next is,
Yep.
dude. Okay, wait.
I'll do it. You want me to do it?
Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, up next is C-3PO. I don't really have much to say.
It was a
This-
one issue.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Okay, the art in this, whoever did the art for this was obviously on a high
shrooms.
amount of psychedelic drugs and then just threw paint wherever he felt like, because this was such a trip.
Yeah.
And not a good one. The art was garbage. It was complete garbage, but
It was.
and the story didn't even make that much sense. But that was what they gave us for the explanation of C-3PO's arm.
Yeah.
That was what we got.
Yeah.
And it was really a big letdown.
It really was.
I'm going to tell you.
Here's the thing about that story. I've been playing Lego The Force Awakens. You saw me. I couldn't put it down when I first got it. Last week they did a DLC, and it's the Phantom Limb level. No, remember I told you they had the Trouble Over Tall episode? And I was like,
Yeah.
great, now I read the comic, we're going to have to play the stupid level too? I was wrong. That level was just what led up to that comic book. So you could play that level and then pick the comic up, and it's one
I
continuous
don't ever
story.
want to pick that comic up again.
And then they released the comic as a level on the game, so you actually had to play as all these droids, and you get picked off one by one, just like. But if you play it on the Lego game, it's tolerable. Like it's actually okay because it's.
Did they make the game design super shitty?
No, it looks just like. I mean,
If they wanted to make it just like the comic.
It worked. Like honestly, if you want to know how 3PO got his red arm, buy Lego The Force Awakens, download the Phantom Limb, and play that level. Don't read
Yeah,
the
just
comic.
play the level.
Play the level. Dude, it's awesome because it even has the same dialogue in it. I mean, it's doable. It really is. Next is Marvel's Poe Dameron. which it says Volume 1 TPB, but that's going to be an ongoing comic.
Right, because I knew that one hadn't finished yet. So.
Right. Yeah, they're only like 4.
Because that was the one they
issues
cut
in.
Canon short for? Was
Yeah.
it for Poe?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
put Poe in?
Yep.
So, and Poe really took off as a character.
Yes, yes, he did.
As far as popularity goes.
Yes, he did.
Poe really, and I can agree with that. Poe was awesome. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited to see what they're going to do with his story arc.
Yeah. Well, the comic is following the story arc right now of him trying to find Lorsan Tekka. Like Leia sent him on this
Right.
mission to go find this other piece of the map to Skywalker. So to Luke.
Well,
So
I'm sure somewhere in there they're going to touch on Poe's history, things like that. They
Mhm.
usually do with this kind of thing.
Mhm. Well, actually, they do in the next thing on the list.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the next thing is actually it's a short reader novel called Before the Awakening. It's another one of those little short readers like the Han, Luke, and Leia book.
Right.
But it's broken into 3 stories: Poe, Finn, and Rey. And the Poe's story talks about how Leia recruited him to the Resistance because he was in the New Republic Army or in the Navy, and she recruited him from that into the Resistance, and it gave some more backstory into where Poe came from and stuff like that. And then Finn's story happens like right before the movie, and it talks about how he's trying to come to terms with what's going on with him as a stormtrooper, and the first mission that he goes on where he refused to kill for him is in this story, and the stormtrooper that called him a traitor, Nines,
Right.
he's in this book. Like he knew that stormtrooper from training. That there was a story between those two, but the Rey story. The Rey story was by far my favorite out of all of them. You have to read at least the Rey story. It's her on Jakku, and she finds a ship that is actually still intact. And she starts to realize, I could fix this ship up and get off this planet if I wanted to, or I could turn it into Unkar Plot for like 1,000 portions, you know? So she spends all this time building this ship back up, getting it to where it'll run, and these other people start helping her with it, and she finally gets it running, flies it to Outpost Nema, lands it, goes to talk to Unkar Plot to sell it to him, and the 2 people that helped her with it fly off in it. Like, it's so good
super
though.
ripped off.
Dude, it's so good though. Like I mean, the story to see everyday life for Rey was so cool to
The
see.
constant trials and tribulations
Yeah.
that come with living on a desert planet.
Yeah, and her fighting the Tito's off of her find and stuff like that, and trying to hide the ship and everything. Like it was so good. But yeah, Before the Awakening. I mean, it was a really good little read. And then we come to
Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
This was such a good movie. To
It
me.
was.
And I don't care that you wanted to complain. Oh, is this a ripoff of A New Hope? I don't really care about any of that. To me, this was a completely. Well, there was some elements, obviously, of A New Hope. This was a completely new experience.
Yeah.
Okay, and I love how JJ did it. I love that JJ stuck true. There was a lot of puppets instead of CGI.
Yep.
He stayed really true to what Star Wars is about as
Yep.
far as imagination and keeping things as realistic as possible goes.
Yep.
And it was a good movie.
It was.
I watched it at least 1,000 times, and that's almost a realistic number.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
And the thing is, when they went back to the practical effects for this movie, it wasn't shoving a finger in the air to all the prequel lovers. That's not what it was. What they did was The Force Awakens is honestly the perfect blend of the prequels and the classics.
Right.
That's honestly what it is. It's the perfect blend between the two. You have the prequels. They were all shiny and glimmering, and it's Coruscant and what? Oh, it's all excuse me. It's all shining and glimmering, you know, and everything's new. And then you have the classic trilogy where everything's beat up and rusted and used. And then 30 years later, it's going to be that way still.
Right.
You can't go back to what the prequels looked like. You know what I mean? Like you have to follow suit with what it would look like. And it was a blend of the two.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It wasn't them crapping on prequel lovers saying, "Oh no, we're just going to use practical effects and screw all the CGI." No, there was a shit ton of CGI
Right.
in The Force Awakens.
But there was also a very awesome amount of
practical effects.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I just love the way the movie was put together.
Yep.
I love everything about that movie. I personally didn't have a complaint about that movie.
Oh, me neither.
Because a lot of complaints that I remember reading was about Kylo and how childish and shitty
He's
he was.
his grandfather's grandson, man. He's a
Exactly
whiny
my
little
point.
bitch. Yeah.
Exactly. Because if you watch the prequels, Anakin was the same way.
Oh my God.
He was a childish little crybaby.
Yep.
And of course, and then you got to understand that Kylo Ben is still going through the transition of from Ben to Kylo. And so, of course, there's a lot of struggle, a lot of confusion. He even says that he saw the light again or felt it again. And so
he didn't want to be seduced by the light side.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually a real struggle for him to go to the dark side, it seemed.
Yeah.
And until he killed Han.
What I find really interesting about the practical effects side is that they went into so much detail. As you know, the shot where Rey's coming into Nemo Outpost and you see the bird like hitting the metal and the sparks coming off it. They spent weeks building that bird with the animatronics just for a 2-second shot. 2-second shot, never to be seen again.
It pecked twice and done.
And that was it. And they put that much love and care into it. And they even like laser scanned models of the Millennium Falcon to CG so they would be perfect. They even put like some of the stickers because I don't know if anybody knows this. Back in the 70s when they built the Falcon, there were bumper stickers on there of like Route 66 and crap. No, there were, and they were like upside down and stuff.
Honestly, I didn't know that.
They even put those on the computer generated one for The Force Awakens. Like they stuck that closely to it. Like it was insane.
Well, that was in the one thing, and I think it might have been in the featurette and also in a couple of the interviews that JJ did. He certainly didn't want to offend Lucas.
Right.
He wanted to really just stay true to what it was, and he did.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was not disappointed.
Oh,
at
me
all.
neither.
And I'm also really excited about 8, even though there's next to no information yet about
Actually,
8.
They just came out yesterday or today and said that John Williams is going to be scoring episode 8, and it's going to be like in the next few weeks.
Oh, already?
Okay. They're really close to having their first cut.
Excellent.
They're already on their. They're really close to having their first cut.
Yeah, it's already on better track than 7 was. 7, they were still doing sound mixing the day before the premiere.
Yeah, they finished editing the afternoon before The Force Awakens released. I mean, it was that close. And you know they're asshole. You know they were puckered.
Oh, yeah.
And they were sweating bullets. You know,
because if it wasn't done, somebody's losing their damn job.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh Jesus, dude. All right.
What else do we got?
Then we got the Force Awakens novel, which you actually read before I did.
Yeah, and
You
it
read
was
it
just it was just a recap of the movie.
Yeah.
But I thought
it sprinkled in a couple extra scenes.
a couple little bits.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of dialogue that you wouldn't get with the movie, obviously, because it's a book. Things like that. And then, the look of shock on Brian's face when I told him that I read it and he hadn't yet, because it's usually the other way. It's the other way around. Brian reads everything and he's like, "Hey, did you read this yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't yet." But it was the other way around this time. Honestly, it's a good read, even if you've seen the movie. Even if you've seen the movie, it doesn't matter. Give this book a read. You're gonna get a few little extra bits that you wouldn't get with the movie.
Unkar plot, getting his arms ripped off by Chewie on Takadana.
Yep. Touch on that
stuff
later.
like that. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But yeah, I mean that book, because I couldn't find the novel anywhere, because I was looking everywhere for it, could not find it, and then I messaged you and said something about I was trying to get it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I already read it on the computer, or read the mobile." Yeah, and I was like, "What the? Are you serious?" So like, I finally found it. I couldn't find a hard copy. I had to go to Arkansas to find a hard copy of it. Like I had to. I couldn't find it here anywhere. And then the week after I come back, it was here. Yeah. So I mean. But anyway, what do we got after this?
Marvel's The Force Awakens, the comic.
Yeah, it's a 5-issue run. It's just the comic
it's
adaptation.
Just a simple recap.
Honestly, that's all it is, and it's not even the full movie.
No,
it's not. They took so much crap out of it. It's insane.
And it was really, if you think of it, was pointless.
It really is. It's just a money grab.
So that's
all it is, because they know us comic fans will pay the money for it.
Oh,
People like me, and I'm gonna have the TPB right there whenever I get it. You know, and then we've got Star Wars Episode 8 and Star Wars Episode 9.
And we know nothing about these yet.
Nothing.
I mean, there's no information yet.
And I'd rather keep it that way.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Because
I can agree.
Because you knew the big spoiler of 7 going into it.
Right.
And I didn't. And I enjoyed not knowing that. I mean, I knew it was going to happen. I bet you still owe me
I do
a
owe you.
freaking steak dinner.
I do owe
That's
you.
what we're going to do. When Rogue One comes out, the night before, the night we're gonna go see it, we're gonna go on our bro date, and then I'm gonna get my steak dinner from last year, and then we're gonna make another bet about this movie, and whoever wins that one, when we go see Episode 8, then we'll pay up on that one.
Fair enough.
Does that work?
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He really thought Chewbacca was gonna die.
Well, it's not so much that I was really sticking to my guns on that one, because I really didn't think Han was gonna die. Just didn't. I knew that main character was gonna die.
Months out, I knew he was gonna.
So my pick was Chewbacca, dude, because that's going to hit everybody in the heartstrings. But no,
instead, Han got hit in the heartstrings. Oh, too
that's
soon?
dirty, bro.
Too soon?
That was dirty.
Oh.
But, so we made this bet. It was a gentleman's bet, of course. And, yeah, I do owe you a steak dinner.
You owe me a steak dinner.
I owe you a steak dinner.
Better be a damn good steak too.
It's gonna be a good steak.
Oh, man,
it's called
it's gonna
tube
taste.
steak.
Yeah, yeah. Everything tastes better when it's free. Here, let me sprinkle a little more free on that for you. All right, and then that's it. Episodes 8 and 9. That's not counting things that we know are in production, like the Han Solo movie, because that is coming, but we just don't know
have any
where
kind of
it's
date
going to be in the
yet.
timeline
Yeah.
yet. So that is everything so far that has come out that is canon, with an exception of like the Servants of the Empire series.
Yeah, just a couple little things.
Yeah,
here
a
and
couple
there.
little things that I'm trying to get my hands on here and there. And I guess the short stories and all of the Star Wars Insiders are canon too. And I've got a list of all those. I'm going to try to be finding those online to get a hold of them. So, but that's everything so far that we've got in chronological order with a review of all of it. Jesus, that was long. All right.
Yeah,
So
these were just simple recaps. If you do want to see our full reviews for most of these items that we did do, you can always go back to our older videos. We have full reviews of most of the pertinent,
good
relevant
chunk of it. I'm
material,
still working on
right.
getting a lot
and
of
I've
it
only
out.
read about fairly 50% of the material.
Mhm.
So, but you can always go back and look at our older reviews.
All right, guys, that is all of the canon material that has come out so far that we reviewed. And now we're going to get into the part of our episode where we're going to take your guys' questions. For the last couple weeks, we've been taking questions on Facebook and email and I mean, all these other outlets that it's just questions about anything, whether it's Star Wars and, personal
We
lives or
just
whatever.
really wanted your guys' opinions and really just interaction with you guys in general. I mean, we love anything that you guys do. We'll post something, you guys put your input. I love that stuff.
Oh,
So,
God, yeah.
I mean,
So what we're doing is we've got, how many questions do we have set
we got
up?
a little Q&A.
We have 13.
Okay. We have, yeah.
13 questions. We have 13 questions from you guys that we're going to answer. I know we're already at like an hour and 15 minutes on this video, but who gives a crap? We are going to answer all these questions, every single one of them. And what we're doing is everybody who asks a question, for every question they ask, we put it into, where did that cup go?
It's a raffle.
We put it into this cup. This awesome Star Wars cup. Yep, this isn't what you're winning because you're winning something even cooler.
For each question, you got your name wrote down and put into the cup.
Yep.
So every question you asked improved your chances.
Yep. And the prize is, you want to hold it up because my arm's not going to be, there you go. It's this awesome hardbound book of the Star Wars trilogy. It's the R2 cover. I know there were like 3 covers. There's like Vader, R2, and 3PO, and this is the R2 cover. So,
Still in the plastic.
Yep.
And it comes with a sweet poster.
Amen. Amen, brother. Star Wars Bible right there. That is what we are giving away to the, and we're going to draw for that after we answer all the questions.
Right.
We're going to go through and answer
This
all
is
these.
the prize for the raffle.
Oh, yeah. So, without further ado, Andrew,
Right.
what is our first question?
We are going to start off with, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name here, but it's Arthur Serva.
Arthur Serva, yes.
Is that okay? And he had 5 questions. And the first one is, do you think Luke can become a ghost when he dies?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got Ben's ghost to train him.
Right.
He's got Yoda's ghost to train him. And that's
He's got Anakin.
Yeah, he does have Anakin.
He's got
You're
Anakin.
right,
And
absolutely
Qui-Gon.
right. And that's how the knowledge got passed down to Obi-Wan in the first place.
Was from Qui-Gon.
Right.
Because he was the first one to figure out how to do that. And I don't see them not teaching Luke how to do
Nah,
that.
I don't see it. I don't think we'll see a Luke ghost.
I don't think we will either. I think that'd be almost too heartbreaking. Because even in the EU, he died at one point. His body didn't disappear, but his essence had been taken out of his body.
Right.
Nobody could see or hear him though, but he was walking around and he saw his body laying on this bed and stuff, and it's the whole book he was trying to figure out how to get back into his body. It was actually really interesting. I don't remember what book it was or anything, but yeah, I don't see them not making him be able to be a Force ghost.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a given, to be honest. But it is a really good question because you don't see that training happen with Luke.
Well, right, but the thing is those ghosts, they come back and they communicate with him. Ben did it.
Mhm.
I think, of course, Yoda would.
Yeah.
Anakin definitely would because he
Yeah.
came back as Anakin, not Darth Vader.
Right.
So, and I think that gives them a lot of catching up to do as father and son.
Right.
So, and
Right.
you got to think all this time in isolation, what else is he doing besides meditating?
Right. And they already said also that Luke ends up becoming the most powerful Jedi ever.
Right.
Over Yoda, over Anakin, over all of them. He is the most powerful Jedi ever. So it kind of, he almost has to.
Yeah,
You
would think.
you can bank on it. He's going to be a Force ghost at some point. That is if they kill him off. I still think Luke's going to die in Episode 9. I really do.
Maybe in some big final finale fight.
Yeah, yeah. I see Luke. I still believe Leia's going to bite it in this next one.
I think so too, because I think Carrie's pretty burned out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
could be wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
I really don't know Carrie's strong opinion on Star Wars, whereas Harrison Ford was very, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So yeah, I see. Han died in the last one. Spoiler alert. And then I see Leia dying in 8 and Luke dying in 9 because they already said this trilogy was going to be the handing off of the baton from this generation to the next. So I see that. I see that happening.
right, and they have more movies for the foreseeable future. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I saw an article the other day that said you will never see the final Star Wars movie. You won't live long enough to see the final Star Wars movie. I'm like, man, come on, really? Yes, I will. Watch me. Anyway,
watch Disney turn the franchise into a joke.
now I'm going to turn into a. Well, that's going to happen, but It's going to be years and years down the road still, I believe. But I'm going to come back as a Force ghost and watch these freaking movies, man. So, all right, what else we got? What's next?
All right, what do you think about the fact that Gareth Edwards will not have the final cut in Rogue One? I didn't know anything about this question, but you actually had some pretty good knowledge about
A little bit. What happened? What the actual story is that the whole reshoot thing that was going on that everybody was worried about, and I told them they shouldn't be. I mean that when they started working these reshoots into the edit of the film, they brought on I can't think of the guy's name right now either. Dang it! I told myself I wasn't going to forget his name.
You were talking to me about it.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of his name right now.
I can't remember either.
But they brought him on to work. Ow, that was loud.
Yeah,
wow, bud.
My bad.
And God, that was my good ear too. Jeez. They brought him on to work with Gareth Edwards on the final cut. So it's not that he's not getting final cut. It's just that
He's getting some help.
sharing the credit with somebody else. And the person they brought, God, I can't think of his name, man. And if you guys know his name, comment below because I can't think of it for the life of me right now. I just said it like, an hour ago?
Yeah. We
Something
were
like
just
that.
talking
Yeah.
about. We were reviewing the questions so that we could give you guys good,
Yeah, I
solid
don't even-
answers. And
I can't think of his name now. Man, it's right on the tip of my tongue too. But anyway, they've worked together before, so they're really good at working together and everything from what I've heard. So it's not that he doesn't have final cut; it's just that he's sharing the credit of the
Right.
final cut with somebody else. So,
Right.
but yeah, that's
so
really
I
all
hope
there is
that
to
answered
that.
your question on that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we talked about this question a little bit before, and who's your favorite canon character?
Who's yours?
All right, now I'm gonna pick a solid canon character because, anyways,
Because mine's a little obscure, I think.
right, I think so too. My favorite canon character as of right now would probably be Ezra.
Ezra Bridger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good choice. Why?
Oh, because of all the hype that's going on right now with Rebels. She's got a novel coming out real soon. Everything about her is going to be amazing.
Ezra. You mean Ahsoka?
That's what I said.
You said Ezra.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so it's Ahsoka.
it is Ahsoka.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Brain fart.
Okay. No, that's fine. It happens.
Ahsoka, though,
Ahsoka, man. That's
is
a
my
good
favorite
one.
canon character.
That's a good one, man. Canon character. Okay. I really, really, really want to say Darth Bane. And the reason I say he is canon,
I know he's canon, but
His
it's more if
character
he
is
fell
canon.
under the umbrella of canon. It's
but his
not.
books aren't.
I know that, but I just.
I want those books to be canon so
I know,
freaking bad,
I
man.
know.
Jesus. But Darth Bane himself is canon. He was in Clone Wars.
I understand
But I just
that.
don't know if the backstory behind him, the canon backstory, is as badass as the EU story. So I don't know. Man, crap. All right, Bane aside, my favorite canon character. Jesus. Man, I was going to say Bane too, and I didn't think about it anymore after that. Man, I really don't know. I really don't, because I love them all, man. Like, geez. Kanan's pretty cool.
Kanan is cool.
Kanan's pretty badass. I'll go with Kanan.
Would that be your favorite?
Man, I don't know.
I know it's tough. I know.
Boba. See, I have a Boba boner, but I don't know. Everybody likes Boba Fett, and a lot of people say he's overrated. But I mean, I like Boba Fett. It's either Boba Fett or Kanan, one or the other. I can't decide.
Because
Yeah.
if I had to pick a very close runner-up, it would actually be Poe.
Ooh, Poe Dameron's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would actually be Poe.
I really do like Rey also. It's just because of the mystery surrounding her and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. I really do like Rey
So-
also. What else we got?
Well, who's your favorite legend character?
Legend character. Who's yours?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about legends.
Mhm.
my knowledge of Legends is very small,
Right.
and really, it was Bane
Bane.
because
right,
of the
yeah.
Bane trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been very partial to the Sith.
Mhm.
You know, so but Bane technically is not Legend right now.
Right.
Well, his name's not. Let's just say that.
The character himself, yeah.
Because we don't know what they're gonna do with Bane right now. So you brought that up just a second ago.
They better do something good with Bane.
So I don't have an answer to that particular question because of my limited knowledge on Legend.
Well, you've got people like Thrawn and Mary Jane. Well, Thrawn's canon
Yeah,
now.
Thrawn's
Oh,
canon
no, I
now.
take it back. My favorite canon's Thrawn.
Oh,
I
is it?
haven't even seen him
Is
yet.
it?
Yeah, I take it back. Yeah, Thrawn's my favorite canon. Canon character. As far as Legends go, you got like Mara Jade and Jason and Jane Solo and Anakin Solo and you got all the Yuzon Vong and I don't know.
Yeah,
Legends.
difficult.
I'm going Mara Jade.
Mary Jade.
I want Mara Jade. Yeah.
I named my cat Mary Jade.
You did, didn't you? I forgot about that. Yeah. God, freaking yeah. I want Mary Jade, and I really want Mary Jade in some form of canon, so bad.
I think it could be easily done.
No, yeah, I think it
they
could.
just haven't got to there yet.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Right now they're focusing on fan favorites.
right.
And stuff like that, and then bringing in
Revan would be a good one, too.
Revan, he's technically
Revan.
Legends right now.
He's
is he
technically
not?
Legends right now. Yes.
Then my favorite Legend character is
Yeah.
Revan,
Yeah.
and I think everybody knows why, and that would be Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, ow, man! Now I did it. Yeah,
So-
dude. Yeah, Revan would be a good one. I completely
Oh,
forgot about Revan.
yes. So I'm sorry I kind of butchered that one, Arthur, but yeah, no. If I had to settle on a favorite for Legend, that for the extent of my knowledge, it
Mhm.
would be Revan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a good
So,
one.
are the deleted scenes from Star Wars and Clone Wars canon or not? I honestly think they would be. I don't know definitively,
Right.
but I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be canon.
I don't think they are. It depends because like the Force Awakens, almost all the deleted scenes we've seen from the Force Awakens so far were in the novel, which means they are canon.
Right.
But as far as things like like my favorite deleted scene of all time, and I showed it to Kirsty for the first time just like a week ago, is the deleted scene of 3PO on Hoth, and he takes the sign off the door, and the stormtroopers open it, and the Wampa grabs him and pulls him in. The other one's
It
like,
is
and then
hilarious.
Vader walks up and just looks, and then keeps walking. Favorite deleted scene of all time. I don't think that actually happened.
Right.
I really don't think it did. I'd like to think it did. I would lose my mind if I found out that actually happened. I mean, I'd laugh my butt off, and it'd be awesome. But I don't personally think they're canon because I think they were cut for a reason, and
And to you, they're not.
yeah, unless they are in some other form of canon, then I don't see them as canon.
So, but we actually don't know that definitively.
Right,
though. As
yeah.
far as Star Wars universe goes, we don't know.
Mhm.
So
Right.
to answer your question truthfully, we don't know. My speculation is, I mean, I don't see why not. His is a disagreement. So
yeah,
we're not sure on that one.
Yeah,
and that is actually it for Arthur.
yeah. That was all of ours.
Those were
yeah.
good questions. I really
all
like
of
those.
them. Every question we got were good questions, man.
So thank you for your input, Arthur, or your questions. And dang, those were good.
They were really good. Yeah. All right, who's next?
All right, we got Richard J. He is actually a fairly new member, actually.
Yes, he is.
And he's already been really active in everything that we do.
Yeah, I've been talking to him quite a bit
And,
on Messenger and stuff.
No, this guy is pretty rad, and his questions were the bee's knees. What is your favorite novel of the Canon series so far? I think we both know this. I'm going to go ahead and put mine
go
out there
for it.
for now.
Go for it.
And mine is still Bloodline.
Bloodline?
Yeah, and then, but it's really tied with Lords of the
Oh
Sith.
my God.
It is really tied.
Dude, that question is so hard to answer because there's some really good. I mean, if it was what's your least favorite book, I already know my freaking
Right.
answer. But I mean, favorite though, man. Jeez, I'm going Lost Stars.
Lost Stars,
Lost
yeah.
Stars is still my favorite, bar none. I mean, it.
That's
and then,
fair, dude. That's
but,
a good book.
But Bloodline would be second.
Bloodline.
And then, believe it or not, I'm thinking like Lords of the Sith would be third, and Life Debt would be fourth.
Life Debt.
Yeah, Life Debt's really good. So,
If you could make a novel for the Canon saga, what would it be? Now, this question could go a lot of different ways, and I'm gonna go more with.
Let's
did
go
you
with-
mean, what kind of story arc would you do?
yeah, let's go with
who?
with where in the timeline and what would it be about? Let's go with
Okay.
that because I'm assuming that's what he meant.
Okay, well, yeah, just assuming that that's what you meant.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of agree on this a little bit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Between Empire and Jedi,
Yeah, either one there.
I would really like to if I could make a novel for Canon Saga, that's what it would be, is what happened to Luke. Luke's experiences between Empire and Jedi.
That would be a really good one.
And then we touched on that when we were doing our review, so I don't think I need to explain it further. But that's where I would put it.
Yeah.
For me.
Mine is either like what you said, between Empire and Jedi with what happened with Luke, or it would be after Return of the Jedi, before Force Awakens, following Luke. Either way, it'd be
Right.
Luke.
Right.
But I
'Cause
want
Bloodlines only went back a little
like
bit.
5 or 6
A
years.
little bit. So there's a huge gap still in between.
Yeah.
Return and 7.
There's a
So-
huge gap there.
Oh,
and,
man.
and every time Luke's been mentioned in anything that happened in between there, he wasn't physically there. They were just mentioning him because he was off on a mission somewhere.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
I want to see what happened with him, with the Jedi Temple, the New Jedi Order, and how they were betrayed, and how Kylo Ren came to be Kylo Ren. You know, and
Right.
and what happened with Snoke, because that book alone would reveal a lot about Snoke.
Oh, yeah.
A Luke book after Return of the Jedi would reveal a lot about Snoke.
And maybe that's something they're thinking about maybe after 8 or after 9 when they actually release who Snoke is.
Then you're
going to
start getting a lot of that.
Right. So I think mostly it's a waiting game for that kind of timeline.
Yeah, and
right
it
there.
sucks, because what if I die tomorrow and I don't get to know any of this stuff?
By the way, Richard, send us a message, man. I would really like if you could make a novel for a Canon Saga. What would yours be, man? I'm actually interested in that.
That's a good question.
Off to the next one. Do you think Wedge will be killed off, and if so, when?
Okay. He made a good point when he messaged me this question, because he said they have been treating him kind of crappy in Aftermath, and he's right. They have been. Because in the first Aftermath book, he was injured and was kind of out of the game for most of the book. And then the second book, he's on a cane the whole time, and he doesn't really do much of anything, to be honest. And what they're doing to his character kind of sucks.
So maybe instead of killing him, they're just phasing him out.
I hope not. I really hope not. If Wedge is going to go, let's just say for argument's sake that they're going to kill him off at some point. If it's going to happen, it's going to be in Empire's End, in Aftermath, Empire's End. It's going to happen because he's one of those characters in that trilogy that everything's built around.
Right.
So I really believe that if they're going to do it, that's when it's going to be the Battle of Jakku. I see him going down in a blaze of glory on the Battle of Jakku. What do you think, man?
Well, my knowledge on those is very limited.
Well, true.
But giving that, yeah, I would absolutely
think so?
agree. He's injured. He hasn't done much. So, yeah, I mean, his last hurrah
Yeah.
would definitely be in a battle.
Yeah, I see him taking out a Star Destroyer the same way that what's the word I'm looking for? Crop duster did in Independence Day.
Yeah.
He's like, hey boys, I'm back. I see him doing something like that. That'd be awesome. All right, what's next?
Do you think we'll get to see the scene where Chewie tears off Unkar Plot's arms in Maz's castle?
Okay, this is kind of a cool question, because that's in the novel for The Force Awakens.
Yes.
And which means it did happen. It is canon.
But I don't think they ever filmed it.
I don't
or
think they
anything
filmed
like that,
it.
So I don't think we'll get to see it, per se.
But the problem with that is this. If Unkar Plot shows up somewhere else in like episode 8 or 9, he can't have his arms. Because technically that's canon that he got him ripped off.
It wouldn't be anything for him to have bionic arms, though.
Yeah, but then people are going to be like, well, how did that happen? Why does he magically have bionic arms? Or why does he have no arms at all? And you have to explain it somehow. I mean, because the main part of the movie-going audience just watches the movies.
That's very true. So they would have to do at least maybe a flashback or
talk about
or
it,
at least
or
let it be noticed, a grudge between him and Chewie or something.
Yeah.
So
They'd have to touch on it some way. If they never brought Unkar Plot back into it, I don't think we'll ever see it.
yeah,
But if they do bring him back, I think we will.
it would have to touch on it at least a little.
You'd have to, yeah.
That would actually be really fun to
Oh
see.
God,
though.
I want to hear him squeal. What else?
I think he's generally one of the more hated people of 7.
He's a dick,
Yes.
dude. I mean, because, okay, this guy, he was the one.
quarter
Gee,
portion.
you know how many times I hear Kirsty say that all the time? She always brings up the portions thing. But the thing is, like, he's the one who's holding Rey's arm in the flashback scene that she has. And he's like, quiet girl. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So whoever left her on Jakku left her with him. I'm not entirely sure he's he's a dick, but I don't think he's the dick that we all think he is. He might just be being a dick to her to cover up something. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know,
just
dude.
me
He had her
speculating.
followed just for BB-8 and all that. So.
Yeah, because he wanted that freaking droid, man.
I know he
mean,
wanted
He
that
was willing to give
droid,
up
but-
60 portions. He's like, I don't care. I'm going to get like 500 portions for this droid. You know, it doesn't matter.
So,
But-
if you were tasked with rewriting the prequel trilogy, what would your story be?
I have been thinking long and hard about this, and since we got this question,
Me too, but I don't really have anything for it.
I really don't know. I don't know what I would, because I mean, I would start a hell of a lot closer to A New Hope than what Episode 1 did.
So you wouldn't do Anakin's story?
I would, but I would try to do it in a way, because here's the thing. Biggest plot twist in American or in cinematic history ever was Vader being Luke's father.
Right.
When you watch these movies in chronological order, that's not a surprise anymore. When you get to that part, that's not a surprise anymore. So if there was a way to do the story of Anakin Skywalker where even the viewer didn't know Anakin became Vader, if there was some way to twist that to where you could do that, and then when it pops up, no, I'm your father, and even you're like, what? No, there's no way, because I thought I saw him do, you know.
Well, I mean, you got to think though, with the prequel trilogy, they didn't have to wink at that. You know what I mean? It was very blatant
Right.
knowledge, you know, because the original 3 had came out way
Right.
before. So they didn't have to build around that because it was already common knowledge.
True.
So
True. I would definitely show the Clone Wars.
the Clone Wars is really
The
important.
Clone Wars has to be there.
Yeah. Gungans don't.
Well, actually, that's true. Yeah, screw those. Technically, the Clone Wars don't have to be there.
I think it's a really important piece of Star Wars.
It is, but I mean, you could do it without showing the Clone Wars, because the way Obi-Wan talked, Anakin and Obi-Wan fought in the Clone Wars, and they were still friends then. The whole Anakin turning to the dark side thing could have happened well after that, and the Clone Wars could have been years and years and years ago before the prequels pick up. It's still cool to see, but I don't know, man. That's a huge question. I mean, it would take forever to go into detail about what I would
Right.
do. Actually, there's a really good set of videos. I don't even know the guy's name right now. I've watched all 3 of them, and you need to watch them because you would love them. I can't remember the guy's name, and I wish to God I could give him credit for this. He does a trilogy of videos on YouTube, and it's called "What If Star Wars was the prequels were good?" It's like, what if Episode 1 was good? And he gives his outline of what Episode 1 would be, and then Episode 2 and Episode 3, and it makes so much more sense. I mean, there's like a love triangle between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. Like, no, I mean, like, seriously, it makes a hell of a lot more sense if you look at it from this guy's point of view.
Well, let's go ahead and just break it down here. In the Phantom Menace, all right, let's just go from Phantom
Okay.
Menace to Clone Wars to...
What would we do different?
Okay, so I understand why they did the pod racing thing, you know,
Yeah.
because it was already
To
touched
show his
on in the
piloting
originals.
skills,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was a excellent pilot from a young age, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Honestly, I didn't like the pod racing thing.
Yeah, but,
I thought it was silly.
it was just to sell toys.
I don't like Jar Jar. I think that's-
Nobody likes Jar.
nobody likes Jar Jar.
That son of a bitch. Gee, he can hang himself with his own tongue. I don't give a crap, man.
So
You know what? I hope to God he's in Rogue One, and I'm gonna say it. Hear me out. I hope to God he's in Rogue One, and he tells Bail Organa, "I'm gonna go wait on Alderaan for you to show up," and then boom. Like, I hope to God. Like, okay, let Jar Jar be in Rogue One. Don't give him any lines. Just say, "Misa gonna go wait on Alderaan," blah blah blah, whatever, and then that's it.
Yep.
Just no more, or just have a Bail
So
Organa
at
telling
least
him,
we
"Go
know
wait
that
on
he's
Alderaan
dead.
for me." Yeah.
We'll at least know
Yeah.
he's dead.
Yeah,
But the
screw him.
premise of Phantom Menace was supposed to show us what Anakin's childhood was
His
like.
background, yeah.
Okay. So if you put it on that, what would you have done differently to show Anakin's background as a child in slavery?
I wouldn't have made him so young.
You would have done a little bit older?
I would have made him quite a bit older. Actually, for Episode 1, I would have probably made him the age he was in Episode 2.
Why? Because the Jedi Council definitely
well,
wouldn't have accepted him then. And
The-
they barely
The thing is, you
accepted
could
him.
change that, too. You could change that in the prequels as well. I mean, you'd have to rewrite almost the entire lore of the Jedi to let that slip by.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who's to say that he didn't get accepted into the Jedi Knights? Maybe they wouldn't take him, and Obi-Wan started training him secretly. Or something like that.
And
You know
then
what I mean?
later
And
on,
then-
he did something
and then
that
later did something
allowed
and
it.
became an honorary Jedi Knight or something like that. And then, something happened and he went hog nuts crazy and started killing younglings.
Yeah.
I mean, just there's so much there's so many things you could have done differently in those movies, you know, and like in episode 2, not start the Clone Wars in episode 2, start them in episode 3.
Right.
You know,
right.
I mean,
the thing about 2 was there was a lot of focus on Padme.
Or
and
have the Clone
Anakin.
Wars going on the whole time of the prequels. Have the Clone Wars be like a 20-year war, a campaign, you know, and
the prequels are like right in the
yeah,
middle
right,
of the
smack
gritty
dab in the
part.
middle of it. Yeah, something like that, you know. But then it takes away from Palpatine and the way he manipulated everything
Right.
to where he wanted
which
it.
I didn't have a problem with.
No, I love
because
that.
that was beautifully crafted.
Oh, God, it was-
like
yeah.
he was master manipulator.
Jesus.
Okay, which is what a Sith Lord is.
Yeah.
You know, he was completely under the radar, and nothing came to fruition with him
Yeah.
until the end of 3.
All,
And
all he
I would
was
keep
a
that the
kid
same.
playing with his toy army soldiers, and he was in charge of both armies, and that's all it was him sitting on a sidewalk playing with his toy soldiers. You
But
know,
I would
like,
keep that. I would try to keep that as intact as possible because I
Yeah.
thought that was really good. That's exactly what a Sith would do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being a Sith Lord, what else would you expect from
Yeah.
him? 2, I would cut out the lovey-dovey bullshit.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
sorry, but I would because they focused way too much on the Padme
Yep.
Anakin thing, and I realized
Yep.
they were trying to push that plot a lot because that's Luke
It,
and
it
Leia's
added
mom.
to the
That's-
downfall of Anakin turning
right,
also, yeah.
exactly. I understand why they did it, but I would cut a lot of that out because it's unnecessary
Yeah.
completely. I mean, their whole time on Naboo was completely
Yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah, I don't like sand.
You
It's
know,
coarse
and-
and rough, and it's everywhere. No, I'm pretty sure everybody on Earth knows that. You know, it's just.
But his mom dying though, and the way she did, and the way he handled it is actually really pivotal in his.
Yes.
So I wouldn't actually change that.
Yeah.
The pain that he has to go through.
Yeah.
Because it's super pivotal
Mhm.
into him becoming Darth Vader.
Right.
Because he killed every single one of those sand people.
Yeah.
And his mom died right there in his arms, dude.
I would definitely make Anakin and Owen actually brothers.
Right.
I wouldn't make them stepbrothers. They would definitely be brothers. You know, and
It just
because then Anakin would have had that relationship with Owen on Tatooine, and the line of Obi-Wan telling Luke, your uncle thought he should have stayed here and not gotten involved, would have made a lot more sense, instead of that's just another lie Obi-Wan told
There
Luke.
would have been that legitimate family bond.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think that would have made a lot more sense also.
All right, what about episode 3? What's break that down a little?
Oh,
what would
my
you
God.
change about that?
Well, it depends on where we ended up at the end of episode 2 with the way we redid those.
Okay, so the original is him and Padme getting married in secret.
Right. That was at the end of 2.
Right, he had lost his arm, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. 2 is almost filler if you think
It-
about
it
it. man.
was. 2
Really,
was nothing
all,
but
all
filler.
2 kicked off was the start of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the one thing I wouldn't change is his mom dying because of the Sand People.
You
Because
could have.
That's really
Yeah.
pivotal, but you could have done away with 2 and put some of that.
That's what I was
into
going to
other
say.
2
You could do
movies.
completely away with episode 2. Take the scene of the Sand People killing his mother, put it in 3, have episode 3 as episode 2, and then just do an entirely new episode 3 of him as Vader.
Oh, his transition, you're getting
Yeah,
getting used to being
because
Vader.
remember in Lords of the Sith, he's dealing with Anakin still being in there with the morality of doing
and
stuff.
that could be the 3rd episode.
And that could be the 3rd episode of
Oh,
him dealing with
man.
stuff like that, and I mean, then
That would
oh
actually
my
be
God,
really
that'd
cool.
be wicked, dude. And
because
then,
he's still going to be battling with Anakin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not until years later that he finally extinguishes what Anakin was
yeah,
and becomes Darth Vader to a certain
I
degree.
don't think
because
he ever
Anakin
did.
still, because in the
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi,
yeah. I don't think he ever
Um,
did because he was really conflicted when Luke was talking to him in Jedi
Yeah.
when he was
who
telling.
wouldn't be if their son came
Yeah.
back and
Yeah,
So
I cut
mean,
your
he
hand off
squashed
and you
what he
still care
could.
about my soul. I was like,
He
geez.
squashed what he could, but I would have loved to see that transition because
Yeah,
in his mind he killed Padme.
yeah.
Um,
And he killed his kid.
Well,
At that
that
point,
he
he thought he
thought.
only had one kid.
right, and he thought he killed them too.
Yeah.
So to have a full movie about that would be cool
of him dealing
as
with that.
hell.
And, yeah, because
It
then you
would be
could really.
oh man, it would be
'cause
so dark though, dude.
Because then episode 3 could really get into them building the Imperial Armada, and you could start
The
pulling in
Empire's
so
Rise.
much classic stuff. You know what I mean? Like his meditation chamber could have been in episode 3. Transitioning the Star Destroyers over to the classics. You could have done it because you could have made episode 3 years after episode 2.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
could have.
And it
Oh
could have
my
been all about the
God.
Empire's rise.
Yeah.
Because in 4 they were just got rid of the Senate.
Yeah. Yeah. They just dismembered the Senate in episode 4. Jesus.
And they were in total and complete control then.
Yeah.
So episode 3, if we did it the way that we were talking,
Mhm.
diminished, completely do away with 2, except for a couple key points.
Yeah.
And then 3 could be the rise of the Empire.
Yeah. Well, see, you could almost you could almost even get rid of episodes 1 and 2 completely. Start the prequels with episode 3. Just give a quick backstory of where Anakin came from, or you don't even have to do that. You just say he was a Jedi from Tatooine, you know,
I
or
don't know.
something
I think
like
it's
that.
really
I mean,
important to see his
well,
past. I think that's important.
I don't think it was as
but I
important as
think
everybody
it could.
thinks
I
it
think
was.
it could all be put in like episode 1.
You could have easily summed the prequels up into one movie.
Mhm.
You really could have easily, but man, I don't know. That's a huge question though.
Yeah, we did spend a lot of time.
No,
on
I
this
don't
one.
care, man. That's a big question. I mean, it takes a because you're talking about
And
3 movies
again,
worth.
Richard, message us your rewrites.
Yes, I wanna hear
because I'm
these.
actually really intrigued by that, and I'm sorry we butchered that a little bit, but I did give it. I mean, I gave it a fair amount of thought and couldn't come up with much, because, and while we all agree that there's so much that can be changed about the prequels, I couldn't come up with really much right off the bat.
Yeah.
So next one is: do you think we'll see Maz featured in Rebels? I don't think we will. Maybe but only touching on her, not really a full on. Hey, there's Maz.
Right. Well, she was in Aftermath Life Debt. There was an interlude with her in her castle. And at Celebration, Dave Filoni, somebody asked Dave Filoni the same thing. Are we going to see Maz Kanata in Rebels? And he just smiled and was like, that's a really good idea. And he's like, I didn't think of it. He's like, but just because I didn't think of it doesn't mean it's not a good idea. He's like, that's a really good idea. We could, you know, and if she's
been
going to
running
pop
that
up
place
anywhere,
for 1,000 years.
if she's going to pop up anywhere though, I think it's going to be in Rogue One on the planet Jeddah,
Really,
because she's a follower of the Force.
she's force sensitive. I don't know
Right.
so much as a
well,
follower.
Donnie Yen's character in Rogue One, he's on this planet. He worships the Force. Lor San Tekka worshipped the Force. Jeddah is the planet, like the Mecca of people who worship the Force, and she does. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they throw her in there for just a quick little.
Maybe a little cameo. You know?
Yeah,
Maybe a little touch on.
part of me hopes they don't, just for like, hey, look at this is the character we also had from episode 7. I hope they don't do that. But I mean, if it fits and there's a reason she has something to do there, I'm for it. But as far as in Rebels, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either way. It'd be cool. It'd be extremely cool to see Maz Kanata in Rebels. Or if they went to like Maz's castle for something
What
like
role
that.
do you think she would play? I mean, like, what would be the purpose of having Maz in Rebels?
It would greatly depend on what the story for season 3 is and where they are, or maybe Kanan sees Ezra going dark and decides to have Maz talk to him, you know, or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
Some kind of intervention to
Yeah.
get him back on the right path.
yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool if the Rebels crew ended up at Maz's castle on Takodana at some point.
At some point, and it's and like it's not like it's unfeasible.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
not.
I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah,
because
why
like
not?
you said, she ran that watering hole for 1,000 years. You know,
That's
I
exactly
mean,
what Han
which
said,
means
so.
she saw the rise of the Republic. She saw the fall of the Sith armies. You know, she could have been around when Bane did the Rule of Two and everything, because that was 1,000 years before the
It was
movies.
1,000 years.
Yeah, so I mean, she was around at the time of Bane. That's saying something, you know. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's weird to think about that. And my sheet fell down in the background. Oh crap! Well, you
That's
guys can see my
okay.
calendar. Anyway,
All right, this next set is from Richard Bubb, also very active on our page.
and this is actually one question we're splitting into two. Isn't it?
We're splitting it into 2. All right, so everybody got a question. And he only asked 1, but I went ahead and split it into 2 because give him a fair shot, and I thought it could be just split into 2. And the first one started is, where would be a good place to start with comics? And then the what I split it into 2 was, where would be a good place to start with books? And I think those are very good questions because, oh man, I started with when it comes to books, I started with Lords of the Sith,
You did, yes.
and I thought that was an amazing start
Yeah.
because it starts off strong, and I mean, it gives you a really positive outlook on what Canon's going to be doing.
Mhm.
So you're going to want to keep going,
Right.
and that's why I see that as a really good start. Book. Where would you start?
Okay. I would go with Lost Stars. And I'm not saying that because it's my favorite book. I'm saying it because Lost Stars is literally the story of the classic trilogy, but it's from somebody else's point of view, and it literally shows you what you already know, but weaving in all this new stuff to give you an idea what the canon's going to be like. This happens, you see this, but this is going on in the background. All it does is enrich what you already know. And I would start with Lost Stars because it goes through the entire classic trilogy literally from the opening shot of A New Hope all the way up to the Battle of Jakku. It goes all the way through, and to know all of that, and then to be able to watch the movies and know all that went on, and then branch out from there. Start close to something you already know, like the movies, and then slowly work your way out. Like you know what I mean? Like I think Lost Stars would be the best place to start personally. If it wasn't Lost Stars, I'm with you. I would say Lords of the Sith.
Just a real strong start.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
gives you a positive outlook.
Bloodline's not a bad place to start either.
It is not actually, and especially with a lot of people knowing 7 now.
Yeah,
Bloodlines would actually be an excellent place to start because that's a precursor to 7.
Yeah.
So that Bloodlines is not a bad spot.
Yeah, it's not.
His original question was though for comics. Where's a good spot to start in the comics? I would say Star Wars Vader.
I'm gonna agree. Star Wars Vader.
And my reasonings are the same. It is a solid start for canon. I mean, Vader was excellent. Star Wars was good. And it's their main title.
Right.
So, I mean, why not start there?
Yeah, Vader's a damn good one. I'm having a hard time coming up with anything better than that. Vader's a really good place to start.
Mm-hmm. And it intertwines with Star Wars for the first few issues. So
because then you got the Vader down arc in there.
Right.
I mean, you've got Jesus. Yeah, and the fact, and actually Vader's a really good place to start because it's going to be set at 25 issues. I mean, you get through those 25 issues, you're done with it. It's not like,
and then you can determine whether or not you
where to go from there. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Vader would probably be the best place for me to start. And if I couldn't get a hold of Vader. Oh.
Because with the comics, the thing is, there's a lot of hit and miss with the comics.
There are. Canon was a pretty solid run, but no, I'm sticking with what you said with Vader. Vader's the best place to start. Or Shattered Empire.
Ooh, yeah.
Shattered Empire would be a good place to start too. Just for the sheer fact that it's your first look at post Jedi. I mean, that'd be a really. I need to reread Shattered Empire because it's been a while since I've read it
as well. So,
but anyway, yeah. So
that was all the questions we had.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all our questions, guys. Holy crap! Hey, thanks for sending all those in, guys. Yeah, it was only a few people that sent them in, but hey, it's awesome that they did.
Yeah, any interaction's good. I love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what we're gonna do right now? Do you want to hold it up?
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant that. We're giving one more good look at this, guys. This is what we are giving away right now for our 1-year episode. And it is the hardback Star Wars trilogy book with a limited edition poster inside of it. It is awesome. Like I said, that is the Star Wars Bible. It's still new in the wrapper, too, man. I'm really jealous. I really want to keep that. But we can't. It's for our fans. So we are going to do this. And do you want to do the honors? Shake it up a little bit. All right, shake it up real good. For every question our people sent in, we put in one entry for them. So we are going to see who won this, and the winner is Arthur Serva.
Arthur, all right.
It is Arthur Serva. Arthur, you have won this awesome book, and I will be getting a hold of you on Facebook to get your mailing address and everything like that, and we'll get it sent to you. Hey, guys, again, thanks for all the questions you guys sent in. It's awesome to see people participating in this thing, man. It's great.
We need to do more things like this.
We do.
Because I just love fan interaction.
Oh, yeah.
I love their opinions on stuff. And again, like for your guys' questions, email us, message us your answers to those questions. I really like your opinions on these things.
Yeah, or just comment below.
Right.
Comment below on any of them, man. I mean, I usually stay pretty active on the YouTube, too, responding to comments and everything. And you guys, give us your opinions, man. That's what it's all about. We want to hear what you guys think. I'll talk Star Wars with anybody, man.
Oh, yeah, all day.
All day. I mean, I cannot. Jesus. Anyway, hey, guys, that was our 1-year episode.
1 year.
Dude, it's been a freaking year. Holy crap, man. Hey, also, don't forget, visit us on Facebook. It is facebook.com/Star Wars Canon Library. Our website is also up. It is www.starwarscanonlibrary.com.
Much more mobile friendly now.
It is so much more mobile
I
friendly.
tested that the other day when you told me that you had been tweaking on
That
the
I fixed
mobile
it?
features and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it loaded right up this time.
Oh, did it?
Because before it would take so long because there were so many layers and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Well, it helped
But
because I got a free copy of
it is-
Photoshop, so I was able to make all these pictures that I had like 5 pictures into one picture and upload just the one. So it cut it down
is
quite a
so
bit.
much better now.
Oh, it's great. So, hey guys, also, 4 months from today, we are going to be at the Warren West in Wichita.
Right.
For Rogue One for the release of it, and I'm going to have me a nice fat belly for my free steak dinner. And we are going to be talking to some of our fans about their expectations for Rogue One, kind of like what we did last year.
Yeah, for 7.
With 7. And we might end up doing something else like
Another
this.
contest
Another
or
contest
something.
for something like
That'd
that.
be
'Cause,
awesome.
I'm going to see if I can't get a hold of the theater and see if we can set a table up or something all day the day before.
That'd actually be
And,
really,
and
really
talk
cool.
to some people. So I'm going to see if we can't do that. But anyway, yeah. Hey guys, 1 year, man. Can you believe it's been a year? I mean, seriously, can you believe it's been a year?
The time flies when a lot of good stuff is happening.
Jeez, man.
And I thought it would drag because we've been looking forward to so much.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, it's gone by really fast.
Yeah, man, this page actually started with me just trying to keep up with it so I could keep track of it.
Yeah, and then
And then
you would
somebody
come to work.
found the page and liked it, and then because I had all my friends on my friends list share it or to like it.
Right.
And then it just like went from there, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing this now, you know. And it went from videotaping videos on our cell phone. Wait, do I even have that?
Yeah.
It went from videotaping them on this right here, clamped to a music stand
Yeah,
with a
just a music
capo,
stand.
with a capo, and we recorded it off that. And I mean, it was, and then we had the shelf over there on the wall, and the little shelf that we made out of the pallets.
Yeah, that
It
quickly
had like
got
6 books on
overburdened.
it, and it did quick, dude. It was bowing like crazy, and then we set this up, and we're here now, man.
Yep.
Next thing we got to work on is getting those 1080p webcams.
Yes, sir.
So hey guys, that's our video, man. Hey, we're so glad you guys decided to tune in and watch this. We're so glad every single one of you guys have followed us. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this at all. And I mean, it's for you guys, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So you got anything you want to say before we
Not
take
in
off?
particular.
No, I need a cigarette, man.
Yeah,
we've been doing
yeah.
this quite a while. Hey guys, I'm gonna get this uploaded as quick as possible. Until next time, guys, may the force be with you.